Okay, we are back to make sure we're all good, make sure we're live. Once we see some folks kind of hop in, we'll go ahead and start the show. It
Word, word.
is Mother's Day, as Nick will say. Happy uterus users to all the biologically
You
XX
caught,
out there.
you caught me saying that? I added another thing
Yeah,
to it. And Suni said she liked it. Upstanding uterus users.
there you go. I know. It's a lot of uterus users that are destroying what's inside. So it's not good. All right, so we at least got one person watching, so that's what's up. As long as we got one, it's all good. So real quick,
Julius, you know who
what's
that
going
one
on?
is? You know who that one is? It's Liddell. What's up, Liddell? We see
Oh,
you
what's
out
up,
there,
Adele?
man.
What up, man? All
Happy
right,
Mother's
cool,
Day
cool.
to your lovely wife, Liddell.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to you, to your wife, Adele, and hopefully you guys had a great Mother's Day, and hopefully it was all good. Hopefully you got your wife something nice. Um, Cool stuff. All right. So, what's going on, guys? We are back again, Age of Men podcast, like we never left. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Sunday to you guys. It is Mother's Day. And what other way to give you guys a good show if Nick and I didn't wear our shirts made by our good friend Suni? Believe no women. I mean, come on, right?
We out here.
Best shirt to wear on Mother's Day. So, had to be controversial some way, some way.
Well, to explain this, first of all, we've been kind of made out to be misogynists, no matter how good we try to be. So we figured, why not just if we're the bad guy anyways, why not embrace the role? And behind this "believe no women" thing, I know it sounds awful on the surface, right? Terrible. Well, it was just. Oh, Julius, you still there, bud?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I just had
Cool,
to
cool. Yeah, well,
wipe my
the
eye.
"believe no women" thing is a trigger card, and it is a statement to point out the fallacy in such a thing as believe all women. We shouldn't believe all women. We shouldn't believe no women. And believe no women is just as absurd as believe all women. We should believe facts, you know? Anyways,
Yes.
that's how Age of Men starts off our Mother's Day tribute. We're not gonna
Right.
get anywhere else.
So we appreciate you guys for being here. God bless you guys. Do hit that like button. And also, if you're not subscribed, if this podcast happens to pop up in your recommendation and you're watching this, do hit that subscribe button and do follow us on all other social media platforms. All the links are down below. We appreciate you guys for being here. So if you guys saw the thumbnail, it was a thumbnail of upsetting the Barb's fans, which is Nicki Minaj. So Nicki Minaj, as you guys know, if you don't know who she is, she's an artist. She is signed with Young Money, which is Lil Wayne. She's been with the Young Money crew for, I would say,
The
since
decade, probably.
2008.
At least a
2008.
decade. Yeah.
Yeah, about 2008, maybe 2009, somewhere around there. It's been about a little over a decade, about what, almost 15 years now? About 15
Something like
years.
that. Yeah.
So big artist, lots of music. She's done music, she's done movies, been in commercials, all that good stuff. Not sure if she voiced a cartoon character yet. That's to be announced. But
Well, what she
so
did do is she got, or her fans might have gotten a little beef with our favorite co-host over here.
and mind you, this is the second celebrity that, or I don't want to say celebrity that said something to me, but this is the second time I said something about a celebrity and I got the attack for it. The first time was when I clashed with Lizzo fans and Lizzo herself because she shared a picture of, her basically saying to accept, I guess, body positivity. And I just kind of point out that that's a health risk. And she didn't like that. And she tried to make fun of me. And it just went haywire. Her fans got mad at me. And then I actually called out her fans and said, well, listen, I actually defended Lizzo because she was promoting a diet. But her same fans called her fat phobic. And when I
Mhm.
pointed that out, her fans just disappeared like cockroaches. So
Uh,
now we come to the Nicki Minaj tweet, and I'm going to show you guys this tweet and why we're going to talk about this discussion. Not so much about Nicki Minaj, but just about the discussion around what happened and why I clash with her fans. So let me get to this tweet, and I will show you guys exactly what happened. So give you guys a little context behind this tweet. Nicki Minaj was on a live with I believe he's a Twitch streamer called Kai. I don't know his last name. It starts with a C, but she was on a live with him. He's a very big Twitch streamer. He's known for at least one thing he is known for is he'll look at women, and you know how some dudes be saying like "God damn," like they'll say stuff like that. Sorry for the cursing, but no, they say things like that, right? He'll look at women, he'll go "Yeah," so it's like this new word like GYATT exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. So he'll see a chick and go crazy over her, right? So that's like the phrase. It's like "Yeah," so he does that a lot. So it kind of looks like he's simping. That's just my opinion, but yeah. So she was on a live with him. Sorry, my computer is going like real slow right now. I'm trying to like get.
You're all good, dude. Angela's in the chat, and she said, solid setup, Nick. Angela, I gotta say, it was all inspired by you to get it going when you pointed out a little insecurity I have with the camera angling up. I don't know if you remember that, but she's laughing. Yeah. How you doing? Happy Mother's Day to your mom and any other moms out there that are important to you guys. By the way, Julius's latest rendezvous with a celebrity, Nicki Minaj. We're going to call this scandal the Julius Nicki Minaj à toi.
Oh, and also too, let me give a shout out too to Nicki Minaj. She has kids. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, sorry, I just realized you were talking to Angela Knight. I thought Angela Knight. I was like trying to find this tweet. I didn't realize you were talking to Angela. What's up, Angela? I was trying to find this tweet
on my setup, man. Remember when she told me like, "Oh yeah, it's weird. Your things ain't going up." I'm like, "Oh, that's an insecurity." she got my ass in gear.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to you, Angela. Appreciate you. So, what's up, K-Train?
Angela free? Angela, you're on a Momless Mother's Day. If you're free to jump up here with us at all, girl, love to have you.
Well, hey, Angela, happy Mother's Day to your mother. God bless her and God bless your family. And also too to Nicki Minaj. God bless her. Happy Mother's Day to her too as well. I think she does have a kid. She has a kid, I think. I think
so.
I think something like that. So here's a tweet that got me in trouble.
Yes, so here we go. Julius is catching the celebrities' attention one at a time.
Yeah. Angela said, shout out to you guys. Shout out to you, Angela. Appreciate you for being here. So here's the tweet. Now, mind you, Nick, I had no expectations of this tweet whatsoever, right? Here's the tweet. So the guy's name is Kai, I guess, Sanat. I guess that's how you say it, Kai Sanat or Sanat. I don't know. But he met with Nicki Minaj because she, I guess, either DM'd him on Instagram to join a live with him. He was all excited. And I get that. You're excited. That's fine. I get it. But on this live, they're talking, and this is a question that she asked him. So let me play this video here. And again, my apologies. This is slow. Hold on. Is it blurry when I go big screen? Oh no, it's fine. Okay, cool.
No, it looks good. But hey, Julius, while we're watching this, do you mind sending Angela invite to the stream or in DMs?
Hold on. Let me. What's up? What are you saying, Nick? I'm sorry.
While we're watching this, do you mind sending Angela an invite to join the StreamYard in the DMs? She's down.
Oh yeah. If she's down to join, we'll go ahead and bring her on. Impromptu, guys. So hold on a second. Let me.
Guys, I gotta hear my co-host. He's always holding it down, and Julius just rolls with the punches with me. I am a very spontaneous guy, and I do things like this all the time. Dude. Look, he's sweating. He's sweating from me.
It's hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Take off all your clothes. I just
keep on all your clothes.
Okay.
I'm taking some echo, Julius. Not a big deal, but when you get a chance.
How about now?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah, still.
Okay. It's always the Bluetooth, man. It's always the Bluetooth. It's all good. It's all good. Angela, I got you. Give me 1 sec. Hold up.
In the meantime, everybody out there, I'll try to do my part since Julius carries this show, and fill the space. Who went to see their moms today? Chat at us. We like to chat back. Tell us how it went.
Yeah. How was your Mother's Day? For all you guys watching, how was your Mother's Day? Let us know how it was. Did you give your mom a gift? So my parents were actually out today. My dad took my mom to a Mother's Day concert, which is pretty cool. So
that's a good husband. That's cool.
So I made my mom a card. I used Canva
Nice, bro.
to make her a card. It's actually a really nice card. She appreciated it. So
hey, did you put your AI image on there? Did you put
that? No. I know. I should have made my mom AI, right? Okay. Okay, I think Angela, I just sent you the invite, so hop on and be ready.
Beautiful.
Oh man, dude, it is.
Julius, it's hot over here too, bud. Yeah, you're sweating.
Bro, it's so hot. I think Satan's in my room.
Not today, Satan.
Okay, so as Angela is gonna make her way to this live stream, we'll watch this video. And
this is Nicki with a popular
Twitch streamer. Yes. So okay. So again, so for you guys who are just now tuning in, let me catch you guys up to speed. This is Nicki Minaj, big artist, been a big artist for over a decade now, about 15 years. She's been in music, movies, commercials, all that good stuff. She was on a live with this guy, a Twitch streamer, very big Twitch streamer named Kai Cenat. It's like CENAT, Cenat, something like that. And she, I guess, DM'd him on Instagram to join a live with him. He was excited, and he got a chance of being alive, right? So people were saying that he brought up the sex conversation to Nicki, and her response was to ask the question as well. So let me bring on Angela as we get ready to watch this video. She's
without further ado, hey!
Drum roll, please. All right. Okay. What up? Okay, so make sure. Okay, Angela, you all good? Audio good?
I think. Am I good? Solid, crisp.
Yep. Appreciate you for joining us, Angela. What up? How's it going?
Chilling. How's everything?
All is well. It's hot over here. I think Satan's somewhere hiding in my room. He's like playing peekaboo, but it's hella hot. So aside from that, all is well.
Angela, Julius got nearly canceled by the Nicki Minaj mob, and you just walked in to be filled in on it.
Wait, what'd you do, Julius?
And get this. I even hype it up all the way. It got real serious with these fans. I'm gonna tell you guys how serious it got. And I say it got serious. It got serious. So let me play this video real quick. So okay, the whole context once again. This is Nicki Minaj on a live stream with a Twitch streamer, very big Twitch streamer. I guess the context was he was talking to her about sex. And this was her response to him talking about.
And he's a young man, correct? That's like kind of the controversy.
Right. So Nicki Minaj is 40 years old, and this guy is 21 years old. So keep that in mind. So here's the video I'm about to play. It's like 30 seconds long.
What's your favorite position? The side. You know the side? Like, no. You know the side like this?
Bro, what the hell are they saying?
Girl, come on, wait. Whisper in her ear. You gotta play. I love you. What's your favorite? Okay, no. I don't go that. But I'm just saying, you gotta make sure you playing with the side and then
Julius, I don't know if it's on my end, but the audio is so bad we can't make out what they're saying.
Yeah.
Really?
Same.
Yeah, can't make out one word. But just give us the sum up. She's talking to him about sex, and he's young, or what happened?
Yeah, do me a favor. Mute you guys' mic, and then I'll play it from the Bluetooth because it's a lot louder.
Okay.
All right. Mute you guys' mic, and I'm going to play it right now.
What's your favorite position? The side. You know the side?
Hold on.
Like, no.
It's not coming from the Bluetooth for some reason. Hold on a second. Hold on. Should be. Hold on a sec.
But yeah, well, Julius nearly, we're lucky to still have him. He nearly lost his life to the Minaj mob this past week. This was much more intense than even the, who's the fat singer that people were coming after you? Lizzo. Yeah, little interaction with Lizzo, but now Minaj mom is coming from March.
Hold up. I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on a second.
No, you're all right, man.
Okay, it should connect.
Bluetooth mode.
Why don't you just tell us what they say in the clip, and then if we get it working, we'll play it. But in the meantime, we can fill everybody in.
Yeah, hold on a second. For some reason, it's not playing to the Bluetooth. I don't know what's going on. It's just
Dude, they sound like a bunch of animals. Anyways, I can't make it out. I don't want to hear it again. Like, just sum it up for us.
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. It happened. So essentially, what it was that, and you guys could unmute your mic. So I'm sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. So basically, she asked him, "What's his favorite position?" And he's telling her about the position, right? He's telling her about it. And he's talking about doing it on the side and then whispering to her ears, "I love you." She kind of gives him a stuck look, and he's like going more into details. So my tweet to that was, and I'll show you guys the tweet. I can show you guys. That's no problem with that. It's so crazy. It's not playing to the Bluetooth. It's super weird.
It's all right, man. We don't need to hear that. It sounds like a gross conversation.
So I'll just say my tweet to that was here. The reason why it got so controversial. Mind you, this tweet got a lot of likes, a lot of retweets.
Okay, big boy.
What do you say damn about? I can't see it.
It's like almost 900 retweets, big boy. He's got 351 quotes. Damn.
But they're all mad at him.
In the house.
They're coming for him.
So the tweet says, Nicki Minaj, age 40, goes live with a 21-year-old and asks his favorite sex position. If this was a 40-year-old man asking a 21-year-old woman her favorite sex position, women would be outraged. I had no idea what that would do. I tweeted it out and passed out. Mind you, it said 11:10 p.m. I tweeted and I was like, all right, just passed out. Next thing you know, the next morning, right? The next morning is when I figured out why this tweet blew up. So the next morning, I'm getting a phone call. No, I got a text. And the text was talking about, be careful walking in Sacramento. Folks can be bad out there and do some bad things to you. It's just like, what is this? So then I go on Twitter and I see the tweet. I'm like, holy crap, it blew up. And these are the comments that I got from people. I'll read you guys this tweet right here, bro. I read the comments.
Mad death threats, man.
Now, some people did agree. Like this chick right here, she said, agreed, same rules should apply for both.
I can't hear him.
Hello, Julius? I think we lost you, bud. Man, stay with us, folks. On Mother's Day, the internet's trying to troll us.
He's still
Angela,
talking.
can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, but Julius is gone.
Julius, we don't hear you at all.
Julius, you need an Ethernet cable, bro.
Julius, no audio, buddy. We can't hear you. Okay, cool. We'll hold it down, Julius. In the meantime, we'll let you know when we can hear you. But
he's just going on, bro. He's going on. Is the router in China? Well, how is this going?
He has an Obama phone. Julius, we can't hear you, man. We don't hear you.
How can he see us?
I don't know. Good question.
He can't see us because he's still going. Like what?
Oh my gosh, dude! How long do you think he's gonna go for? Julius.
Oh my god.
And we're all small in the corner of the screen too. We gotta go big. Julius. Here, watch. I'm gonna try to get his attention. No, I don't want to leave. Well, it's the Nick and Angela show until. And he's also being entertained by Julius.
Is out. He's out. He needs an Ethernet cable. Like, stop.
Yo, let's take bets on how long Julius goes.
I think he's finally realizing. He's realizing it. Nope.
Nice. I'm putting the bet at 9:37 my time. 3 more minutes from now, maybe. Ange, what do you got? We're doing Price is Right rules. If you go over, you lose.
9:37. We'll do 9:36.
Oh, you Price is Right me going under. All right. Come on, 37. This is awesome, actually. This is like the best way I could have thought to do the show.
There's this guy. He's out. He needs an Ethernet cable.
I think he's going to be texting something this somewhere. Hey, yeah, thanks, K-Train. You can hear us, not Julius. Dude, I love my partner in crime out here, Julius. He's always holding it down for us. He's always dealing with something over there. And he's so funny, man. He's always taking it in stride. Hilarious. You can't make this shit up.
Nicki Minaj is married?
Yeah, believe it or not. To some
married
sort
her?
of fucking... The guy's got to be a loser, man, to put up with some... She was having talks about sex with the 21-year-old on the air. Like, I wouldn't want my wife doing that.
Damn, Julius is getting fed up like his show.
What's he doing? Is he frustrated?
He's frustrated.
Oh, no. Julius, my man. It's all right, buddy.
I'm telling you, his router is in China, man.
Hey, Angela, so, how about we call this the Happy Motherless Day show? Since we're all out here, you know, not hanging with mom. You know, you told me motherless, so let's go with Happy Motherless.
Yeah,
show.
definitely motherless. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't have moms. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty chill, whatever, you know. And my man's mom doesn't like me, so it's kind of cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
Free from the woman herself. Cheers to that.
Cheers, girl. So your man's mom don't like you. Here's what people don't realize, parents especially. If you don't like something or you don't want your kids to do something, the last thing you should do is let on about that. Because kids especially want to do what they're not allowed to, what they're told not to. So don't make it such a big thing because you're just going to push somebody more into what you don't want them to do. You know?
Yeah. You know, she's just very old school. My man's mom, and I'm very not. Even at this age, you know, I get the whole why don't you have kids yet? Me personally, I want to adopt kids. I really don't have any interest pushing kids out of me. So
wow.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many kids that are in the orphanage and all that, and you know, it's between a surrogate or orphanage. I don't really care to have.
Girl, you don't even know how that hit so close to home with me. Both my grandparents on my mom's side were orphans.
Oh wow, look at that.
So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's just but you know, like everyone's always like, oh, you should just have your own, like, you know, it's more traditional. And I'm like, honestly, there's nothing traditional about me. I mean, my relationship is, you know, the values are there, but I'm not gonna cherry pick what I need to not do. Like, you know, most people back in the 1950s were married at 20 years old. I'm 28 years old. I'm a little past 20. So you know, if I listen to what people say, it's just because half of them are miserable and they want me to be just as miserable with them so they can see, like, I told you so. I told you so. And I'm like, I don't need your little told me so. Okay, I have plans right now and I'm not worried about that. So inflation is real. We don't have time to sit here and act like it's cheap to have kids. It's expensive.
It's ridiculous. Well, first of all, it's really cool that you're considering adopting. I don't think enough people think about that. And secondly, there's another like little perk that I see from that is that you know, if I'm your man, my wife's downstairs doesn't end up a little worse for the wear, you know, through the process of pregnancy. That's a win-win if you ask me.
Yeah, you know, honestly, women change a lot during pregnancy that people don't realize. During, before, and after postpartum depression, it's a real thing. And then like the way it affects your body, it doesn't matter how much you work out as a woman. Like once the skin is stretched out, it's not ever going to stretch back. And that's like a big insecurity for a lot of women, that their skin just flaps like that. Like, you ever seen Click with Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Remember when he lost all that weight and his skin was like flappable? Like that's what happened to a woman's belly. Most like people of skin of color, like you know, once it stretches out, it stays stretched out. And that shit fucks with your you know, self-esteem. So for me, like I like my love life the way it is, my intimate life. I like the relationship and the balance. I prefer not to mess with that pH. We'll leave it alone.
That's very smart. And I couldn't agree more that will definitely like make you insecure as a woman. I can see that. And to be frank with you, it's kind of like gross to see it on a stranger woman or whatever. However, I got to give a caveat, and this is a big caveat if you ask me. I feel that like if that's your woman who carried your kids and she has those now because she birthed your children for you, that's not gross. In fact, that's beautiful to me.
Yeah. I think that most men actually don't mind it if it's the wife that that they did that with and all
And I
that.
want some other chick they're gross because they're not my
Yeah,
marks,
because yeah, it has to make sense. But for women, it's a self-esteem. For us personally,
Mhm.
I would say, I mean, I've watched all the women in my family suffer with their insecurities in life and, their unhappy relationships. So that just makes it way worse. And then it doesn't work out in your relationship and you move on to the next. And now you have to suffer with whatever consequences you have to take because you had a child already. Hard pass. Hard
Great
pass.
point. Great point.
I know. A lot of moms disagree with me, though. I have some moms that would agree with me, but most of them are like, it's creating a life is beautiful. I'm like, duh, it's beautiful, but your child turns 18 one day, and then you have to continue living your life as a normal human being. Your life isn't always going to be a full-time mom. I'm like, so if you're going to base your entire personality off of being a mom, I'm like, good luck, because they're going to leave the nest one day. And now you look at your husband and hope to God you didn't have a sexless marriage for 18 years because of your postpartum depression and all that stuff.
My
Too
mom
realistic.
actually, dude, she kind of went through that with us a little bit. So like after my dad got like pretty established, that he could like be the single income, they decided like it would be best if she stayed at home, take care of us. And when we were like 16, 17, 18, starting to leave, she kind of like went through like a little bit of a funk. But that's when she decided to like go back to like real estate school and get her mortgage or realtor license and killed dad until she became a grandma. And now she's kind of retired into the grandma mode again. So it's funny to see her go through the different phases of it. But yeah, it's real. That depression thing when the kids flee the coop.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't think it's spoken enough. Like people have tunnel vision when it comes to doing something good. Like it's like I don't know. It's like saving the city, but like breaking everything in the midst of saving it. Like you saved a couple of civilians, but you definitely did like $100 million of damage also to save all these civilians.
Have you ever talked to Julius about this specific situation before in a movie?
No.
Because I didn't see it, but Julius is a big movie buff. And I think it was Superman, one of them, where he was kind of like upset with Superman, and he loves Superman because he went like off and for no real reason that he could justify. Like he destroyed like all the buildings of the city and everything just to like fight one dude or something like that.
Yeah, like it's like you go to create something beautiful with your husband, and then you ruin the entire relationship because you're still trying to figure each other out, and constantly everything's evolving around you, and you bring in a new person into life, which is your child. And now you focus all of it on your child. You take away too much from your husband. I asked every woman and every man, like, who would you save? In a moment of death in life, like, and
I was just going to ask you this.
Every man always says his wife, and every woman always says her child.
His children, yep.
And that's the problem. It's like it proves to say that men love women in a sense where it's like, I love my kids, but I need my wife so that I can raise my kids. That's how men think. And for women, it's like, I love my husband. I need my kids because it's more of like they carried the child and they're more like, morally it feels like they have to say that. But to me, as long as the child is safe and surviving every day, like I don't want to spoil my child. So for me, I would treat my child with, just enough, privilege, but enough for them to know like you still have to work for everything. Because you want them to have that thrive for life. Because if not, they're going to be spoiled brats. You look at the richest people; they'd rather donate the rest of their savings and stuff to charity than give it to their kids. And people hate that, but I think it's important for kids to find their purpose in life.
I couldn't agree more, and that brings up actually two stories about my dad. Quick stories. First one, he's like the most successful dude I've ever seen. I watched him become self-made in front of my eyes. From like we were relatively not well off when I started out to like now he could be a millionaire for all I know. But anyways, there would be times like where me or my friends or whoever else would always be like, dude, how come like you never have any money? Like you can't get money off your dad or anything? And like, dude, no, I couldn't ever. My dad never ever would just give me money. I had to like earn it or prove a value. Maybe pitch. He'd be down for me to maybe even pitch an offer to him like to make it worth his while to pay me for something sometimes. But like never ever you're gonna get that for free. Now maybe on a birthday he would do that. A nice gift.
It's a privilege. That's what those things are called, privileges. That's what people don't realize. Like, I had a debate with some chick about this, and she was like, because I have a little brother, little sister, and I don't talk to them, not because I hate them, but I just don't agree with their choices in life right now. And she was saying, well, shouldn't you at least spend some time with them? I was like, on what commonality? There's nothing for us to have in common with right now. I was like, I'm leading a life where I'm thinking for their kids, like the life that I'm leading, it isn't just for them. I'm like, and if I tolerate their mediocrity in life and their degenerate bullshit, I'm like, all I'm doing is just basically allowing them and letting them be the way they are while I have to suffer and watch you be stupid you get to say, well, I need to live. I need to live. Like nothing you're doing is anything I haven't done. And yes, some people have to live through a certain experience to know it, but to a certain degree, it's called discipline. And around the people that you love, you need to know how to suppress that and have respect for it. It's like you don't curse in front of the past, you don't curse in front of your parents. So, I think that's weird how this generation expects me to tolerate, the degenerate activities with the people that we love. But in reality, strangers treat me better than them. So I'm like, if strangers that don't know me can have that type of respect, why should I tolerate it? So
I hear you. That's wild. Hey, Julius, can you hear us, bud?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I was like,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, right over there, bro. We're holding it down here.
Well, you know what it is that my computer, because when it gets hot, dude, Sacramento, bro, maybe it's everywhere, I don't know. But when Sac gets hot and it's the houses, it gets hot everywhere. So even though my fan's on right now, the computer's like super hot. So when that gets hot, it makes everything super slow. That's just how it is. That's to me, I think that's the problem with Mac and Apple products. When the phone and computer gets too hot, it slows everything else down.
Well, turn down your screen brightness and stuff like that. But before I forget this, Ange, to what we were talking about, to kind of wrap it up, to prove your point about men will say that they would pick their wife over their children if they had to, whereas the women they always pick the children over the husband. My dad, at one point, my mom and I were like really going at it when I was in high school. Like every day I didn't want to go to school and I wouldn't get up, and she had the responsibility of like getting me up and getting me there. So I'd be a heavy sleeper, and sometimes I'd wake up to her kind of like more or less like physically brawling with me. Like I don't know what I did. I must have said something in my sleep or something that pissed her off. Anyways, the one day that happens, and I say some seriously bad, messed up stuff to her. And I leave for school, and I know my dad's going to give me shit for it when I come home. So I stay out super late hoping to come home with him sleeping. Anyways, I come in the house, and I can hear his like unmistakably loud alpha steps walking upstairs. I'm like, oh shit, he's up. That's not good. And he's coming down to the kitchen, and he just walks right up to me and pokes me right on my sternum. He's like, if you ever talk to my wife like that again, I'll fucking kill you. And I was like, yes, sir, I will not. You know what I mean? Like, I got the vibe from him in that moment that, like, look, it seems like you're trying to make me pick between you and her. I choose her. You know what I mean? And I was like, yes, sir, I will not. And I never did.
Talk about leadership skills right there. I think that's what every man should do. Unfortunately, my dad was not like that. And that was, I think, the one of the problems in a failing relationship for most people, because it's not that men don't want to speak up, they don't know how to speak up, and then they just kind of give up, and then they just continue the cycle of constantly piling up things that they want to say, but they're just like, you know what, I'd rather live life in peace right now. It's already a sexless marriage. I don't want to be homeless also.
Wow, Angela.
Yeah.
Bars.
It's sad. It's sad, honestly.
That's a clip right there for Mother's Day, folks.
Yeah,
on the age of men.
Yeah, it's just sad, honestly. But I think like a lot of my experiences come from what I've seen with my own personal family, but also like when I was in victim mentality, and I thought it was just personally me going through that. And then when I went to high school, I went to 3 different high schools, and then I looked at, I made all friends with misfit people, and I'd hear their stories. I'm like, oh my God, this is normal. I mean, this degenerate shit is normal. This broken family stuff is normal. So I think at this point, I'm aware of the patterns, but when I talk to other people, I'm constantly getting dismissed like all the time. Like I hate it, but it's worth working up to it because I have a plan.
Dismissed about what? If you have anything.
So as the latest debate lately has been women are privileged, and it always irritates me when people say that, because to certain surface grays, sure, you can say women are privileged, but at what reference are we talking about? And for example, if you say women are privileged, like I'm a woman, and every time I say things that I've accomplished and things I've been through, it's always like, oh no, you're a woman, you probably had it easy. And I'm like, how can you say that when I was raised with zero privileges, with no parents, with, I was moderately like unattractive. So it was like, I didn't have the privileges that a Miami girl who gets in the front row of the line. Yeah. I didn't have the pretty privilege. And, it's just crazy because when I talk to people, I'm constantly getting dismissed because it's like, you're too young. You're a woman. You wouldn't know. It's like a line of shit. And I'm like, okay, bear with me then. Give me some time. And the next time I see you, I want to see if you can cross your T's and dot your I's, because I hate not having answers for things. So I think in like on the 23rd, I'm back on Valuetainment, and I'm be debating this fucking turd called MLD. And he swears he's like top G, but it's just so annoying because I've never seen a man run his mouth the way this man does, and then he claims himself to be a coach, and like leading men to be better men's, and I'm like, leading men to do what? Like to run their mouth onto women, and you wonder why they have to be in defense mode, and that's why I'm on defense mode 90% of the time dealing with people, because it's like, I can't be open arms. People keep wanting women to be just submissive and damsel in distress and feminine, like, but it's not like men coming here in the modern society with the standards of being, a traditional man, being a stoic man, being a man of leadership.
Women. Yeah.
Like, you already come in with your guard up. So like, what do you want me to do? It's just crazy. So that dude I hope he holds his breath, because I'm going to really come for him.
Nice. I'm definitely tuning into that one.
Yeah. Julius, you good?
Buddy, take your time, man.
Nah, I'm okay. I will say that was a great podcast you did with Value Saving Money, Angela, with you, Little Red Riding Hood, the chick from it was good. I like that podcast a lot because it wasn't a gotcha moment. It wasn't like trying to use clips to make you guys look like bimbos. It was actually a great conversation. Like, I actually do appreciate that. It's funny because Nat said something when it came to dynamics of male and female, especially when it comes to like making more money, because I see where Sauce was trying to go. Sauce was basically trying to ask you guys, do you want your men to be basically like higher than you, essentially? You know what I mean? And so some of the girls like, try to be PC. He can make the same. He's not the. And that made a good point. Is that like women are afraid to say, well, I do want him to make more money because they want to come off like they're a gold digger, right? And then Angela had a great bar where she said, well, if all you attract is gold diggers, then all you're bringing is gold. And I was like, that was dope.
I brought that up on our show when she was on, because that's one of the things I came across at hers. I was like, that's a bar.
Yeah. So it was good. It was a good episode. But when Nat said that about the money dynamic, I've said that before, and I was called a misogynist for saying the exact same thing Nat said. But then Nat made a good point and said, when you hear it from a female, it always sounds different when you hear it from a guy. Because when men try to talk to women, we think that they know how we think. And
vice versa, women think that it's hard for us to really fully get the paradigm that the other has gone through and is at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's why I agree with John Doyle, this young cat in Texas. He was talking about when you have these conversations, not that you have to be emotional, but find a way to appeal to emotion in a way that you can get the logic across. So it makes sense. So anyways, sorry about that with the whole stuff. Again,
Say no more, bro.
Down. I just want to say this. I don't want to harp on it too much because it's been half an hour so far. But the Nicki Minaj thing, I'm going to get back on that. Basically, I was comparing the differences between a 40-year-old woman talking to a 21-year-old man who was asking about, like, talking about sex, essentially. And I just thought that if that was a dude, it'd be a lot different. And then when the Barbs came after me, they were posting my house, posting my address. They wrote messages talking about walk down the street with one eye open. I'm like, why would I walk down the street with one eye open? Am I supposed to be, is this a dream? I don't get that. It makes no sense. So
dude, they were calling you for like an hour or two in a row, right?
You got doxxed?
He got doxxed and stalked. The gang stalked by like
people posted my house. They posted my house. They said, "This where you live? This where you live?" I had to report every single person because I don't want my house to be doxxed like that. So,
honest to God, it sounds to me like there was. It sounds crazy, but like a Minaj public image control squad. They came for Julius because they sensed he was like maybe undermining her credibility. And then Julius, wasn't it the same case with Big Lizzo that once you ended up saying something that was kind of like on the side of Minaj, and sure enough, now that he's back in a decent camp, they didn't even acknowledge that you were nice or said anything to Minaj, but they were gone out of your life. Yeah, so, it seems like a hit squad or something, man.
Yeah, so when I talked about Lizzo shared a picture on Twitter it's like a couple months ago, and she was basically talking about to accept her fatness, just accept the fatness, right? And so I posted a screenshot from Healthline that said obesity is bad in America. So Lizzo fired back by showing a picture of me and like my smile. It's still trying to say my dark spots were like diabetes. And matter of fact, Lizzo got ratioed. She got ratioed. Half her fans said it's a 5 o'clock shadow. One person said, I'm a fan, Lizzo. I love you, but that's a 5 o'clock shadow.
Bro, that she was reaching, man. She was reaching loud.
I was like, interesting, right? So then her fans were writing me. They was like, kill yourself, yada yada yada. The typical, right? I didn't go back and said it's funny how Lizzo fans were coming after me when I actually defended Lizzo when she was promoting the diet. Those same fans called her fat phobic. After that, not a single person wrote me. I was like, that's what I thought. Nerd. No,
amazing. Dude, didn't Lizzo respond to you pretty quickly too? Like you got her attention very quickly.
Yeah, that was crazy. I tweeted that tweet and like 2 minutes top she responded to me, which is pretty crazy.
Now what happened with Minaj? Was it just her fans? Or did Minaj herself?
No, it was just her fans. With Nicki Minaj, it was just her fans that came after me. Her fans doxed me. They called me for 2 hours. Trying to they called me, they text me, they showed my house and my address. I had to report. I had to go through all 500 comments and kind of look through to see who was doxing me. I had to report a lot of people. So then after that, I had a tweet where I basically said, Nicki Minaj fans are mad at me, yet I defended Nicki when she questioned the vaccine and was trying to get conservatives to put her on a platform. And not a single person attacked me after that. One person was like, we don't care about you questioning. I was like, yeah, of course you don't care about that. But you care when I make an observation. Because the point I was going to talk to Nick about, and I'll bring this up to you, Angela, was that a couple months ago, Leonardo DiCaprio, the actor, he's 50 years old. He's dating chicks who are like 24. He won't date them as a past 25. When it came out that he was talking to a chick about 24 or whatever the case may be, women will say he's predatory, it's gross, he's like old enough to be their father, all these things, right? But Nicki Minaj can go on a live with a dude and talk about sex and the favorite sex position, even though she's married, and there's no problem with that. Nicki Minaj can do a song with Ice Spice, who's 23 years old, and grab her butt cheeks in the video that they did together, and then twerk with her and rub on her booty. But hey, female empowerment, am I right? So that's okay to do, but Leonardo DiCaprio gets seen holding hands with a 24-year-old, and oh my God, someone called the FBI.
Wow. Interesting.
So
Julius, you always find a way to put things that, that's cause a stir, needless to say.
I had no idea. I just made an observation. I was like, I don't understand why everybody's so mad. And mind you, man, it was so funny. I'm going to go on my computer and show you guys this, but it's going to take a slow. But I'll just tell you guys this. One guy reached out to me and basically was like getting all mad and trying to huff and puff his chest and things like that. I went on that guy's page. This dude's talking about Cardi B. And Cardi B retweeted him and told him to shut the F up, essentially. So you're going on Cardi B's page talking about her, but you get mad at me for talking about Nicki because you're a Nicki fan. But you can go on Cardi B's page and talk. It's like these people are just nuts, bro. Like, this is why you shouldn't, idolize people and not make people, that whole idolatry thing. That's the problem. These people are making the celebrities' lives their own, and they're missing out on their own lives. And that's super unhealthy because Nicki Minaj doesn't even know your name. And so one person was like, she don't know your name either. I said, I don't even care. I said, I had no expectations of what was going to happen with my tweet. I don't care if my tweet gets 1 like, many, or none. It's Twitter.
Yeah, this is the fake world, man. This is not the real world, guys. Go get some air. Get out. Go get a hobby.
So again, the point of the conversation to make towards that was just saying that it's interesting how when it comes to sexism, it doesn't benefit male or women, in my opinion. It doesn't benefit women when it comes to sex itself. When they say men can have sex with lots of women, they're called a stud. But women have sex with lots of men, they're called a slut. So when a man dates a woman who's younger, he's called a pedophile. When a woman who's older dates a younger man, it's female empowerment. It's yes, queen, do your thing. So it's crazy how sexism has this way of not benefiting either or. But yeah, people have this thing called selective outrage. You know what I mean? You're outraged. It's the same people. It's the same people who, when dudes, when a female is like 31 years old and she's having sex with a 13-year-old in high school, and if she looks good, dudes say, "Oh man, I wish that was me in high school." Woohoo! I'm like, but she's a pedophile. But if a guy does it,
well, she kind of raped the kid.
Yeah, and then if a guy does it, it's put him in a wood chipper, right? Automatically. Then when another woman comes out and she's in her 30s. having sex with a 13-year-old, tell her to take it like a man, and she's ugly, men are saying throw her in jail. I'm like, oh, she's ugly? But if she was hot, you'd be like, I wish that was me. But you're like, throw her in jail. Oh my God, she's sick.
She's ugly. Throw the bitch in jail.
It's like, what is happening? It's like we're such a sick society. Like, we'll go after pedos, but if it's a female pedo, oh man, I wish that was me, man. It's like,
that's it. Angela, what do you think about this? Does Julius have something there? Because I can see his point.
No, Julius is completely accurate. I mean, that's kind of my style of debating and argument nowadays. I think that because people don't realize like the advantages that both genders have in their own ways is not the same, and the disadvantages. And I think that it's a good way to point out the hypocrisy. I can never say that word. Of society and people itself. So it's a good angle. I think it's great that you're doing that. It takes a fast, witty person to do that though, because a lot of people won't catch on to it. Like honestly, like that's how Myron gets away with a lot of his like the shit that he says, because nobody's ever gonna point out the fact that, for example, what did he say? That the math doesn't add up for a lot of things that people say. For he'll go, men need to have sex with as many women as possible. And the whole vasectomy thing he promotes for that. So, but at the same time, if he gets women on his shows that aren't married, why aren't you married yet? Well, shouldn't you be married right now? Well, who the fuck is she supposed to be married if all the guys you're telling to just have a vasectomy and sleep around? Who's she supposed to be married? A Billy Goat? Like, bro, like there's just natural selection isn't a thing anymore, because what these guys are following and promoting, it doesn't really fit, because what are the women supposed to be doing? Wandering around? Being boss babes, because you're telling all these guys to go sleep around with as many women as possible.
They're promoting the exact thing that they claim to hate in this world. They literally are facilitating it while claiming they hate it.
Yeah, but nobody calls it out. That's the crazy part.
I was going to say that too, and that's the thing, is that the hypocrisy. This is the reason why I'm having a problem with the whole red pill, because the hypocrisy is starting to show. Like Angela said, you tell guys in their 20s to get a vasectomy, but then you tell girls they should be married. But how can they be married to a guy who has a vasectomy? You can't just. This stuff costs money to undo. You can't just undo it. The only folks who can get free vasectomy are those in the military. You know what I mean? At least what I was
told. Bro, even then, man, they're taking it way too cavalierly that this can be without complications, or you're cutting off your ability to procreate for an extended time, and then assuming somehow that's going to come back online just fine.
We're just missing the fact that they claim that high value men have all this discipline financially, physically with their body, but to work out and be hot or whatever the hell it is, but you don't have the discipline to pull out. Like, really?
or the discipline to only dude, it's not that hard to not get your woman pregnant. You don't even have to use birth control. I just was really anal about keeping track of her fertile windows. You're only fertile like 7 to 10 days a month or something like that as a woman. So the other time's fine, but like, yeah, just be responsible about your sex, and don't be having sex with people that you wouldn't want to have kids with.
Exactly, that's the problem with people. Like, I've been with my man for a minute, and I swear I've never had a scare with him, because he knows his body, I know my body, and that's what people don't realize. If I were to get pregnant, I'd be completely fine with it also, because to me it's like, you don't have sex with people that you worry about having a kid with. They shouldn't be, oh my god, I don't want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Then why are you sleeping with them? Like, why are you sleeping with someone that you
There was a video back in 2020. I was laughing earlier because it's like I said with Angela the other night. I was like, I'm on a block. Like I did some things in the past.
Oh, I know, Julius. So I won't tell the audience what I know, but yeah.
I'm not saying I was like that guy. It's just like, it was just like a timeline of events. It wasn't like I wanted to death. Just things just happen as it is. I've already talked about that too. It's not just like a new thing. But there's this video back in 2020 where this guy, this is in New York, and he got this girl pregnant. She came to him and told him, and he was like, get an abortion. And she's like, I don't want an abortion. I don't want it. He's like, I don't want this baby. I'm like, I was like, well, why'd you?
You shouldn't have fucked her, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, but that's the problem with men. This is why I think men get kind of weak when it comes to certain women, because I think the men who don't get a lot of women, when they do get that, even if she's not the most attractive, but something about her body goes, oh, she has some big old, or whatever the case may be, he'll get lost in that, and then the lust starts to like come out, and next thing you know, he's like feeling so good where he just can't pull out. And then when she's saying little things in his ear, like,
bro, the pull out game is not anything that I would ever wanted to play with, because First of all, that's literally the exact last moment that I want to pull out something. You know what I mean? It's so like it's too risky. Like the stakes are too high. That's not what I'm. That's not. And it's a miserable test of like your willpower to starve yourself of like a pleasurable. Yeah.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Some men, they get caught up in the moment. They get caught up in like her saying,
I'm gonna come her. Oh, I love you, baby.
Okay,
Oh,
I didn't want to do all that. I didn't want to go too graphic, but they for that education, sex 101 here.
Let's paint it out for the people what you're saying. Yeah, I can imagine. That's awful. Yeah. Don't do that, young men. Anybody. That's not the best.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. It's like that's why when the advocating for men should have sex with 50 women. In some weird way, I can see that, but at the same time, it's like that's not feasible. Only because out of those 50 women, 2 or 3 may get pregnant because the dude, and it depends on how she looks too. Again, when guys don't get females, and out of those 50 women, if one of them is like super bad, and to him he's like, "This is the best thing ever." He don't want to pull. You get what I'm saying? Like he's in that moment. It's like you can't. Myron can't sit there and coach you throughout the sex and be like, "All right, man, you better pull out, homie." Like you know what I'm trying to say?
He might, Julius. He might do that for like premium viewers. Yeah.
I mean, look, Myron can tell you get 50 women, but he's not going to be there when you actually have sex with those 50 women.
Dude, that's all so cringe, man. All these like some of their philosophies or tenets can be like good messages, I guess, to tell a young man, but the rest of them are just awful. They don't make enough emphasis on the fact that the advice that you're telling these guys that you live and whatnot is only applicable. Well, first of all, it's not even talking about the potential immorality of it all, but it's not even applicable unless you're in like the 7-figure a year fucking level. Like this is not applicable to anybody that's listening to your stuff, and you don't emphasize that enough. Like that's a very big difference. These people that are listening to you should not be following what you're doing in your life right now.
Well, also here's the thing. To Nick and Angela, here's the thing. The reason why Myron says that, and I do watch the context behind it, is that he said the reason why men should have sex with 50 women is so that men can, in short, pretty much know female nature, to kind of know their way around women so they can be more experienced and things like that. My thing is that I agree with Sneeko when he actually challenged Myron on this. He said, is it really that hard to know if a woman is not right for you? Because it's really not that hard. That's why I don't understand the whole 50 women, because I've been on the block, so it's like it wasn't that hard for me to figure out even just with one chick whether she was good or bad. Even when I was a virgin, I knew this chick was not good for me. You get what I'm saying? So you just know, because it's like you have this instinct on what's good and what's right and what's wrong. Even as a baby, like when you're a baby and you touch something, oh, that's hot, don't do it again. That's wrong if you do it. So we have that instinct in us. So when we get older and you meet somebody, you can feel whether or not somebody's being genuine or they're just being like disrespectful. And I don't think you need 50 chicks. Now, I'm not saying Myron's a bad person, nothing like that. I'm just saying overall, to advocate for that, there's no way of telling of those 50 chicks who might be the one that the guy just falls in love with, and when he's having sex with her, oopsie daisy, now he has a kid, now he's trying to tell her to get an abortion, because there is a percentage of men out there who coerce women to get an abortion. Because
so I got a question or two for Angela on this, and I want to preface it by saying, dude, honestly, I don't think I have 50 or anywhere near there, and I'm quite frankly happy with that fact, because I've always been a quality guy over quantity guy. I've never had a mate that I've not been very, very happy and proud about. And as opposed to many of my friends who are all quantity over quality, like dogs, they do you, whatever. But for me personally, I don't think 50 is necessarily a flex. I know that most men can't get laid ever, but like if you're in a class where you feel like you're a decent man or whatever, I don't know. I would just rather not have sex at all unless I'm having sex with somebody that I see as like somebody that's like a really ideal top level mate. You know what I mean? Angela, how do you feel about a man that's like racking up bodies and stuff like that? Is that attractive, unattractive, anything?
Well, I think it's completely unattractive and unnecessary. I don't think any man or any I hate people who overindulge. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. In food, indulge in complimentary stuff, in sex. I don't like people like that. And I think, how can you be selective with it, whether you are or you're not? And it shows a lot in a lot of ways. I just don't. The best people I know, the phrase I like to say is, what is it? listen, you taste everything, but you eat nothing. But I don't mean like sleep with every woman. Like you know what you want, you taste it, and you move on. And once you figure what you want, like you don't have to overindulge. And I think people overindulge in such a nasty way with women that they justify like I need experience with women. But what experience do you need with women? I'm really curious because with my man, him and I were both very type A. And when we look at people, it isn't just the fact like, oh my God, you're lusting over them. Like I look at men and women the same in my eyes, and so does he. So there's a lot of things that are unattractive that I can see that most people are like blissful, like unaware of. So I think like once you get past the little goggles of like, oh my God, you're in lust, you start realizing normal shit like, oh, I don't like the way this person thinks, the way this person talks. Yes. So the fact that you're getting like, flabbergasted over the fact that you haven't slept with somebody, that sounds like a you thing. It sounds like you have zero game, zero awareness in life. And the fact that you feel like, it's anyone else's fault that you haven't gotten it out of your system in a healthy way.
I mean, Baskin Robbins only had 31 flavors. Everybody always gets one flavor when they go in. I'm saying. they're monogamous ice cream. No, I'm just kidding.
So here's the other thing. I actually just realized his argument that it'll get you more experience is pretty ridiculously stupid if you ask me, because what if I'm with one girl and having sex with her 50 times or whatever? That's experience with a mate, like a consistent mate. That's arguably even better experience than going out and just getting 50 random chicks that you fucking bang out and don't have any loving, intimate connection with. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of experience are you racking up when you're just running through bodies and not like doing anything?
That's the question. What are you referencing when you say men need experience? Is what I would personally ask him, being who I am now. Like, what do you mean they need experience? Like, in what regards? And people don't break that down. He needs experience in, interacting with women. That's called socializing with them. You don't have to sleep with everyone that you socialize with. And the fact that you think sleeping with a woman is the way to connect with her, actually, that's not. That's part of the plan, but actually, most of it is emotional, mentally.
Yes.
And if you can't even coexist with them, you think sleeping with them is going to give you the, the experience you think you need? Like, that's so stupid.
You have to do something on a shallow or manipulative level to get into a woman's pants if you're not doing it the real way of courting her and letting her become in love with you, and then you guys do it. Which then is the payoff. That's how you kind of consummate a serious relationship, in my experience. If you're just getting in there early, you've done something on the shallow level, the non-depth level, to somehow like seem a certain way of a certain status or something to her. It's not real, is what I'm getting at. There's no depth to it, and you're basically just gonna leave her upset and regretting her decision to do that with you, and you're gonna. I don't know. It's just so ridiculously dumb. I don't get the sense in it at all what they're promoting with that, unless they have a resentment towards women inherently, which sometimes I'm starting to sense that might be it. Like they just want to like almost cause trauma and damage amongst all the women.
They have PTSD. They legit
they feel resentful. They're bitter of the fact that these women did that to them or whatever when they were coming up, didn't pay them time of day, and now that they can run through them and do the same thing that maybe some mean women did to them, they're happy to do it. And they have $1 million now because they had to work hard to like get there, and they're like menaces.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with one point as far as like, not so much with Myron, but just about him saying that, he said this in an interview. I forget who the chick was. He basically saying that he had to take a few L's in order to understand women, essentially, right? So I get it from that point.
We all do, yeah.
Yeah, and then also too, it's like to go back to knowing whether a chick is right or wrong. Back in 2018, I was at a club, more of a social club. And it was me and my two friends, and there was this waitress. She was hot, and my friend wanted to get her number. And I told my friend, I was like, listen, because at this time I was understanding female nature. I was doing the whole, Tinder thing, getting girls. It was crazy.
And Angela, remind us to tell you Julius' Tinder thing. But go on, Julius.
No, it's I'm
no. Angela, remind me to tell you about it. But go on, Julius.
I'm not trying to flex. I'm just giving an example of how
it's good. It's funny.
It's not. No. Nick always trying to put me on the spot with that.
Dude, the Tinder thing's so funny. And also, I remember the story about your friend. Go on. It's a good one, too.
Yeah. So the point is basically saying how you can spot whether a female is not good. You don't have to sleep with her to know whether she's good or bad. Mm-hmm. So my friend wanted to get her number. And I tell my friend, I said, listen, make sure you get her number and not the other way around. If she gets your number, I'm telling you, she's not going to call you. Told him that point blank. He's like, man, it's whatever. I was like, all right, bro. So then she comes back to our table, and he was like, let me get your number. She goes, mind you, it's me right here sitting down. It's him across from me and his cousin over here, and then the girl on his left-hand side, her two other waitress friends. She goes, let me get your number. He goes, okay. And he grabs a napkin and starts writing down his number. I look at the girl. I'm just sitting there looking at her, and she looks at her two friends and goes, like that look
like I told you, it's that easy. But like little fucking little boy.
I made him jump, and he said, how high?
Yeah, literally.
I sat there. I went,
not a good look, man. You don't want to be that guy. Don't be Julius's friend, young man.
And then, no, listen, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
No, but it's not a good look. I feel bad for because, dude, to small extent, we've probably all gone through that with women, and it doesn't feel good. Women don't want you to be like pathetic like that. They're gonna dog you out.
Yeah. So he gave her his number, and she got it. And then after we like went to go do our own thing, I told him, I was like, bro, she's never gonna call you. Like, you should have got her number. He was just like, I don't know. It's like you could in that moment I could just see she's not a good person for him because I feel like he was like embarrassing to do in front of her waitress friends.
He's mocking him with her friends right there.
Yeah, like, if you want to do that in front of these girls, it's like that's not a good person to talk to. So he didn't have to sleep with her to know that, you know, she's a bad person, whatever the case. I don't know. I just think the whole
all the signs are there. People just they what is it? They break the rules for the people they like, and they make the rules for the people that they don't like. That's all it is. It's just sad, but it's the reality. And I think it goes both for men and women. And again, nobody really talks about that. You know, they get mad. Oh, she's a hoe. She wasn't a hoe when you were trying to get her number because she's still the same person.
Great point. Great point.
I've been there before too. But anyways,
I feel like you've been places, Julius. You've been places.
I wouldn't say I like. It's not when I say I've been on that block. I'm saying that like I understand women because I've been on dates. I've experienced things. I'm not like just out here just raw dogging females and things. That's not what I do. I'm just saying in the timeline of events, I've experienced like different types of females. Now I kind of understand. I was telling Angela, I was like, when you are uncertain about a woman, even though like she may look good, but you have this uncertainty about her, you're more in your masculine frame because you're uncertain. You know what I mean? You don't want to go far with her, but you might just sleep with her or whatever the case may be, or hang out with her because she may do something for you. Or when you like somebody, like you really like someone, you start to get a little bit beta because it's like she's everything. You don't want to let her go.
She can sense that, and it's a very big. At first, it's kind of like a fun little ego rush for the woman because she has you right by the balls, can literally get you to do anything. Let's see exactly what I can get this guy to do. But after a while of you being pathetically made to do all sorts of things that she's just seeing what she can get away with, she will soon then realize, like, this is not the strong man I want. This dude's fucking pathetic. In fact, he lets me fucking...
Would you guys say that that's a human thing? Like, it's just a woman thing? Or do you guys think men do that also?
Let me think of it from the... Yeah, I didn't... I'm sure...
How do you mean? When you ask that question, like, how do you mean? So I can kind of answer that better.
Well, I think if anyone heard that, they'd be like, oh, yeah, women are the devil. Women suck. But I know plenty of guys who don't take women seriously, but still manage to string them along and, you know, play with them and, you know, enjoy their bodies and enjoy the convenience of having a girl there, but they don't really like them. And, you know, those are the fuck boys, you know, just like those are the hoes. So, you know, I don't think people talk about how much they've normalized these type of activities. But then they zero in on the woman because they expect the woman to be more noble. And I'm like, oh, I think people should be noble, but it is a common thing because women are more like seductive nowadays. So you're going to attract to them a lot faster than as opposed to a guy.
Yeah, I think that's why it becomes so the spotlight comes on them because they have like a giant laser beam that can just melt the world at any time they want, you know. Whereas the men like got to go out and like somehow like build the laser beam and make sure it's like gonna work and then they could use it. Like it's like they basically have like the nuclear football in their pocket at all times because it's like men covet the pussy, you know. Not to be crass, but like maybe that's why I or others focus on it. But you're right. It's good to bring up the other side of that because I definitely know men like that where they're just
and even for the women that people would say like women in general have that privilege. I wouldn't say women have that overall as that privilege. Like it's the you know, like the hot girls, like those are the ones who actually get those type of privilege, to be really honest. Because average women are like average men, to be honest. And to me, like I was pretty, and I would still consider myself average, but I know people whatever. But like when I was in Tampa and I was not on the internet and I wasn't exposed to people, um, I didn't have the type of interactions I have now. I didn't have people in my DMs. I didn't have that type of like, oh, let me know if you ever want to. If you're in New York, if you're ever, I never had that in Tampa. You know, so to me, it was pretty like if I could walk out the street and probably get laid anytime by some hobo, yeah, sure. But it wasn't anyone that was like, you know, worth quality or just decent for you to be like, oh, yeah, I slept with so and so, you know? So, you know, people often say that women have the privilege. I'm like, but what privilege are you talking about? Because I'm, you know, for the normal girls, like in Tampa, my friends don't watch my content because the things that we're talking about, which is like the hose activity, they're like, dude, we're just average people trying to find average love. Like we don't
Yeah.
relate to the, you know, the Miami life or the New York life or the California life of the extremities of people, you know, dabbling into aggressive hookup culture.
Yeah, I think too earlier when you said the men who string women along, the men who string women along is because they they know those chicks are basically hoes. They know they're easy. So that's why they string those women along because they're not there for the long time. They're there for, as I say, they're for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
So when they do actually find a chick they actually want that's close to pure as possible, then they'll dump that chick and then that chicken will become traumatized. So when the next guy she gets with, it's going to be harder. So this is what I was trying to tell you, Angela. I had to think about that question from before about can a woman who's divorced still be feminine and things like that, like submissive? I had to think about that. Like, I actually went for a walk to go think about it. I was going to the store anyway. So as I was going to the store, I was like, let me think about this question a little bit more. Because my execution was so bad how I answered that, but I understand it now because I think in that situation, so Nick, the question was presented from a friend of mine's. She said, can a woman still be in her femininity even though she's divorced with kids? My answer now is I would say no. Before Angela, my answer was yes, depending on who it is, but my answer would be no now because I think when you deal with a guy as a woman and then that whatever happens, whether it's your fault, his fault, doesn't matter, it's going to bring some type of I don't say depression, but it brings like a
Defensiveness.
yeah,
Overall,
like
maybe.
some kind of defense mechanism. Because if the guy treated her wrong, like the guy didn't give her what she wants, the next guy she's gonna get with is gonna be a lot more challenge for him because now he has to meet these expectations. So she may come off more masculine than she will feminine because she's on the defense mode rather than offense mode. So and plus with her being divorced and having kids, now the guy got to take on the kids and the fact that she's divorced, whether she still has feelings for the guy that she was previously with, but it's trying to get over him by trying to move to somebody else. So,
Well, how did Angela answer that question?
I still disagree with that analysis, but you know, I get what you're saying, but the reason why I disagree with that is uh, that's insinuating that how do I say this? That the man isn't masculine enough to walk his path and understand, like, you know, if he likes this girl enough to initiate a relationship with her, there's something about her that he likes. So you're both foot in the door, or one foot in the door for both people. So let's say she has some sort of PTSD and trauma. We do recognize that when people are freshly into a relationship, they do put up more of a front and they do put their PTSD behind closed doors. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone's super fake in honeymoon phase.
Sure, yeah.
So I would say, like, I get what Julius is saying that she's going to be in her masculine, but the reality is, if she starts dating a new guy and he's showing her, you know, that he's masculine and he's everything that her ex wasn't, that she's going to be chasing him. So even if she has PTSD, she's not going to be like it'll be there, but it's not going to be projectively like there. In a sense, where like I've known many men who have gotten cheated on, and then they still go on to date, and in the back of their mind, they could be cheated on any minute, but at the same time, this is a new relationship. They're going to tread carefully, and we all recognize that everybody has PTSD, but I don't think it's to the level of she can't find a new relationship and move on, like how Julius is saying. I think it is obviously there, but it's not to that level unless the man is like a modern man who is like too feminized to know how to lead the relationship.
kind of like Destiny.
Oh, your boy just.
I can't say anything about him, honestly. I'm trying, you know.
No. So real quick, Angela. So this is why I bring him up because this guy I follow on Twitter, he posted a video about Destiny, and I think it was Abba from Abba and Preach, and I guess he was with Destiny, and it was Destiny, his girl, and Abba, and then I guess his girl and Abba like got up and started like dancing together, and Destiny's like, it's mail time, and so they
literally it's mail time, Destiny. I see what you're saying there.
So they both start getting, and then they start dancing, and then you just see Destiny kind of like going along with it. When the song comes on, it's like, hello, darkness, my old friend. And you see those two dancing in the background, and Destiny kind of sitting there like, you can just tell he's feeling that pain of like, I don't like this. Like, you chose to be polygamous.
Can I say that? I want to say that it's not. I'm gonna be honest. I've studied him for a little bit now. I really think that he cares more about video games than he does about women. I
remember you saying that.
Yes. So I don't think he suffer as much as people think. I think she's actually the one that suffers. The reason why I say that is because I saw an interview of her where she was complaining about how he video games too much and he doesn't spend enough time with her. So because of that, that's why they are in an open. In my analysis, that's why they're in a both open relationship, because he puts video games over her. She wants him first, but she's also from Sweden, so it's like they're very open with their sexuality. So to cope with it, she sleeps with other people. She has fun.
Wow.
So actually, she's the one that's suffering.
But it was funny though. I'm not saying that you said this, but I wouldn't think that what she says is more Sweden of her. That sounds like what happens here in America, because I've been in situations like that. You know, matter of fact, even last year, I had a girlfriend where I was doing my YouTube stuff, and I could tell that she wanted me to kind of spend time with her, and I was like, but this is my YouTube stuff. So if I did something, quote unquote, without her, she would feel some type of way, even though this is my YouTube.
But you're trying to make this a career. Oh, or his video games is his career, I guess. I guess it's the same, yeah.
But that's what I mean, though. It's like if I go do a YouTube somewhere where I'm trying to just show people something new, this and that, and she feels some type of way because she's not there, that's basically saying I gotta be with you 24/7, even though you're doing your business stuff.
But I don't think it's very common for women to want multiple partners like that. So I tend to think that Angela is what she's telling us from this girl might be true, like because unless she's inherently like a swinger or whatever.
Like when you see women that are hoes and promiscuous in the streets, or even if she's in a relationship,
they're looking for love, right?
They're looking for the validation and the love that they're not getting from the one person at home. That's all it is. Like, I'm a woman, so I know how women think. I don't care what anyone says. I understand how the deepest, the darkest, the best, the noble, the hoes. I understand all of it. And I'm not saying that because I think I know everything. But you know, if you ask me about a man, you would know to the core what a man is.
This is a hell of an asset we have here, Julius. A great asset for the age of men. All you people listening, I hope you appreciate her candidness with y'all.
Yeah, they're funny.
And chat into us in the comments. We like to chat back. We have Angela available to you right now, guys. Throw stuff at her. We'll field your questions, you know.
Absolutely.
Try not to simp to her too much. Don't look pathetic out there if you can. You know,
you guys don't have that crowd, which I really like.
If you're really gonna simp to her, send the Age of Men a super chat of $20 or something and say Angela's whatever.
You guys are too much.
I was just kidding.
Well, no, but if anybody who is watching right now do like this video, do share this out. If you share this out, a big way to share this video out that actually does help. If you guys on Twitter, especially if you follow any big names on Twitter, share this out to their platform. Go to their big platform page. Those who have like over 100,000 followers, even over 50,000 followers, go share this out. Put the link and say, check these guys out. It's a great podcast. That's how you get people to kind of look at it. So it definitely helps out to do it that way. I want to kind of segue just a little bit, and then we'll move into the Kanye West stuff, kind of talk about that. Kind of segue into Mother's Day real quick. I know, Angela, when you first came on the
Motherless Day.
Yeah, you was basically saying you're momless. This is kind of touch on that real quick. Like, I mean, nowadays we live in a time where mothers are being called birthing persons, because they're trying to, be inclusive to the transgender community and things like that. And to me, it's very disingenuous, in my opinion, to call people birthing persons, because because
the term "mothers" perfectly applies already. Like what?
Right, YouTube can do what they want, but I'm just saying, like, only women can get pregnant. That's not controversial.
Those are weird agendas that I think there's much more under the surface than we realize. Because, like, what the?
Yeah, you actually had companies, which I can understand, but you had companies that were basically trying to say, we feel for you if Mother's Day is offensive to you, essentially because of the fact that it's not as inclusive, every case may be. But I also understand because there are maybe some others who maybe lost their kids when shooting and things like that. I totally get that, miscarriages. I totally get that, but it doesn't mean we still can't uplift the mothers out there who are actually doing good
We
things.
can't be inclusive of men for pregnancy, okay? That's taking inclusivity a little too extreme, you know? Sorry, men. You can't be included in being pregnant. I mean, come on. Like, what the hell?
I 1000% bet you that if social media was stripped away back to like pager era, we wouldn't have this problem. Like, there are people that are gay, there are people that are trans, like, from their genes or mental, whatever it is, from the core. Those are, because I know a couple in real life who don't live on social media, who don't care, like, they're so low key about it, and it's like they did the full transition, and it's just like they just want to live in their own world. They just want to be in peace. And I would say, like, I really believe in them when they say that, but there's some of them, just some people out there, and it's a slight mass where I'm just like, are you bored? Are you okay? Are you looking for attention? Did you get what you needed? So,
the issue is with that though is that, and I do get what you mean, because there are those that do want to live in peace, but then the problem is when the protest starts to happen, they're right there marching along with those people who are radical. That's why it's always a slippery slope. They say they want to live in peace, but then, like, for example, in my area, in downtown, there's a specific block catered to homosexuals. So if somebody were to go on that street and march about pro-life or march about, traditional marriage, those folks would come out instantly.
It's generalizing, because I know there are people like that, but I mean, the people that I know in specifics will speak up against it,
Well, let me say this. I've been having some interesting headway made on my TikTok lives with the one topic in particular. I say it's just a question in the background being posed. It's enticing. LGB should drop the T ? And I make this pitch, okay? Look, from my perspective, I'm a layman. I don't really care what anybody does. Behind closed doors, you do you. That's none of my business, frankly. Have at it, LGB. The trouble for me as a layman, again, the waters get grayed with T for numerous matters that I can't just easily sign off on, as with the LGBs who are just trying to live their life in private, just as anybody else. I think if I were an LGB, I'm not necessarily seeing any upside. Again, I'm a layman, but from where I'm sitting on the outside, I don't really see any upside that they're getting from associating with the T's. I see a lot of muddy waters that are getting dragged through with the T's. And as I understand it, LGB isn't necessarily T inherently, nor TLGB. They're not one and the same. And so I was making this pitch out there, and I've been amazed at the more and more gays and trans people who have come in and they agreed with me. In fact, one young gay gentleman, he said that he's like really fed up with LGBT, and you can kind of tell in his like dialect, his voice, and everything. He was definitely, evidently homosexual, stereotypically, whatever you want. You know what I mean? He sounded the part a little bit. But he was fed up with LGBT legitimately, and he said it's because us as gays, we fought for equal rights. We just wanted to be able to do what straight people could do, get married and whatnot. And guess what? We got them. We won them in like 2010 or whatever it was. He said. He's like, so now there's nothing that we can't do lawfully that a straight person can do. We won. We achieved the mission. It's over. But now it seems like they're pushing further into strange pursuits. And he was like, I'm getting really fed up with it. So if your boy has anything to do with it, I may accidentally be the cause of LGBT not getting QX LMNP put on after it, but cutting the T off at the end, you might just have LGB, guys.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because I was at a college yesterday, and it was talking about, it's crazy because the college used to be one way back in the day, but then it totally transitioned to more inclusive and things like that. You had the picture on the wall of this, the picture of a teacher and two students and one student on the side. So the two students were solving the math problem, right? It said one student had 7 times 5 is 35. One student had 7 times 6 is 42. One student had 7 times 5 is 75. And he goes, I don't care if it's wrong or right. That's just how I feel.
Boom. And that's the world we're coming into right now. That is a young, observant. I don't even know if he realized the brilliance of like the insanity he pointed out in the modern world with that. But yeah, if everything is subjective and it's how you feel, then there can't be math. There can't be the basic fundamentals of science.
Yeah.
Things have to be represented by certain numerical values and cannot change. You can't have the same representative for something else. It's like in binary code. If you have 1 and 0, a 1 has to be a 1 and a 0 has to be a 0, or else binary code won't work. You can't have anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like because of non-binary either. I'm just using it as an example that like a 1 can never be a 0 and a 0 can never be a 1, or else the system falls apart. They represent something for a reason. It's a tangible thing that they're representing, you know? It can't be changed, but...
And then also, too, even with the LGBT push, like, for example, I think it was like back in the 60s, maybe 60s, you had Harvey Milk, one of the prominent figures who kind of pushed the gay rights, right? The problem with Harvey Milk was that he was actually a pedophile. He was a 30-year-old who was
the problem with Harvey is he liked to diddle kids.
Well, no, he did. He had he was 30. He was like 33, and he had sexual relations with a 16-year-old kid. So he actually he would date men that look like teens. So this is why I say the agenda is like it's a slippery slope. This is why, again, it's all tied back to like Mother's Day and how they're trying to take away from women the biology of XX chromosome, and now trying to say, oh, intersex is a thing. Oh, but now trans is a thing. Now we can identify it as this. I had this tweet where I said there are people who want you to identify them, call them by their pronouns, but then we'll call you cis male or cis female when neither male or female acts to be that. So why should I call you by your pronoun when you're going to call us out of our sex?
Respect my pronouns. No, respect is earned, and if you're making me say absurd things that go against everything I know, I don't respect you. Is that a hot take?
I mean,
I'm not going to respect your pronouns because it's ridiculous. It's not respectable. Some of them.
Yeah.
My thing is just freedom of speech. Like for me, they always constantly spew freedom of speech, freedom of speech. So my freedom of speech is I don't want to call you that, and I don't want you to call me that.
Hot take.
Yes.
Hot take.
Selective of freedom of speech here, you know. So I don't. That's the only thing where I'm like, I just don't want to be called that. I'm sorry. It's not. Sorry, not sorry, but I shouldn't have to be called that if I don't want to. So get over it.
Well, you can say whatever you want, and I cannot say whatever I want, and that's also freedom of speech. You know, freedom to not speak. Jordan Peterson's a psychologist I really respect a lot for a lot of reasons, and he came onto the well known. He came into fame. He was just a university teacher in Canada, anonymously more or less, and he came into massive fame when he decided to take a stance against compelled speech laws that were being put through Canada to make you have to, say somebody's gender, whatever pronouns. And he said he was getting all kinds of heat as being like transphobe and all these other things. When meanwhile, he's a clinical psychologist that understands like gender dysphoria and whatnot. He's very sympathetic to them. He's not at all against them. But what he also is a study of history and totalitarian governments being built and dictatorships and whatnot. And he said compelled speech is the first sign of a lost society. When the words I utter are being compelled by law, we no longer have a civil society. At that point, it's just a slippery slope down to hell. So he took a big stand against that. He would not ever be compelled to say anything as long as he could, had anything to say about it. And that's why we all know him now as like the guy he is. That's what led to everything. That stance he took.
So real quick, I want to see if I can get this back on the screen.
Oh, Julius, so before I forget, dude, I think at the end of the show, if we have a minute or two, I'd really like to bring up to Ange the story of the guy that was so large that his indecent exposure got canceled out from the show that last night.
Oh, yeah.
Did you come across this story, Angela? Do you know?
You talking about my past people? No.
No. There's this dude, this fat dude. Actually, he's a trans person, born a male, identifies as a female, but enormous, like just a lot of blubber all over him. And he had a penis, by the way, the article states still. So, no, she had a penis is how the article reads, actually. She was out and exposed herself to 3 minors and was getting charged in front of a judge for this. And the judge dismissed the charges of indecent exposure in public because of basically he had such a little dick and such big blubber that you couldn't see the dick in public, and therefore, if the fucking judge threw it out, the blubber fucking censored the indecent exposure. He lost his dick and his fat.
His fat.
And she lost. I keep saying the wrong thing. She lost her dick in her fat.
No, it's
What
a
are we
he.
doing?
Oh, it is. It's a he.
I know. That's why, dude. That's how they start off the article. She had a penis. So it's just like, dude, what the fuck is going on here?
Somebody wrote to me on the comment on Instagram. They said that this is all satire. We gotta start waking up. Basically saying that these type of stories are just to distract us because it's so ridiculous.
Don't undermine the insanity is the point. It's important not to look these things like grasp our thoughts for too long as if there's any depth there to be pondered upon. There's not. Just
what's that quote by Voltaire? If you can make people believe in absurdities, you can also make them commit atrocities.
Ooh, I never heard that.
Good one.
How about it's easier
to do time to time.
No, you don't. Who you kidding?
You black.
Hey, how about that? That reminds me of this one for some reason. It's easier to fool a man than to convince him he's being fooled.
Oh, yep. All right. I got nothing for you guys, but that's good. That's good.
Angela, you're up.
There's no bars like saying if all you attract is gold diggers. The only
I was trying to remember.
Hey, not gonna lie, Angela. I'm not trying to sound like no simp. I actually had to rewind that to hear it again.
No way.
That was a good podcast. I enjoyed that podcast. My dinner tasted better because of it. I was like,
I was so mad, honestly. I swear, I think I'm too hard on myself in so many ways. I like the conversation we had. I think there was too many girls. I think they just took one girl out of the panel. So many girls, because it was like there was more I wanted to add, but I also wanted to respect how many girls there were kind of going down. And like the more we spoke, the less there was anything for the last girl to say. So I'm like, she's kind of useless being here, but I still want to respect her.
I kind of saw that, and
how many girls were on the panel? How many were there?
1, 2, 3, 4 total.
Yeah. And then how many men were managing the show?
Excuse me?
Two hosts of the show? Or two,
technically 2 hosts. It's Adam and then Nat.
That's a bit many for a panel. I would say, like, in my experience, like on TikTok or wherever, 5, if you're trying to manage it, is about where I would want to be max.
I just like 2 too. Like I like 2 hosts and 2 guests. That's just my thing.
That's what I mean, like 2 hosts and then maybe 3 max guests. But even that's like, 5 max is where I cap everybody.
It has to balance out because they it's 2 versus 1. It's 3 versus 1. I'm like,
I mean, you got 2 guys, 1 girl. We're all gonna pile on you. Like, no, Angela, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Our misogynist is bleeding through. I mean, you see our T-shirts, right? T-shirts women.
Yeah. So Angela, what do you think of this?
Mother's Day, right? Gotta be controversial somehow.
They make us out to be misogynists anyways out here, so we figured we would just double down on it. But let me explain the believe no women thing.
Yeah.
I know it strikes as like it seems it's bad. It triggers something, right? Well, I just kind of came up with the idea when I was thinking of how absurd the believe all women movement was. I was like, what if we troll them and say, believe no women? And then they'd be like, how dare you say that or whatever? I would be like, yeah, it sounds silly, doesn't it? As silly as believe all women. We shouldn't believe all or no. We should go with facts.
We should just believe the truth.
Yeah, we should go with the truth, not believe all or none. This is all absurd. It's as absurd as this shirt is, so is notion like believe all women. Let's just go with the truth. So it's a way to start the topic. You got to catch people's attention now. Nobody has any attention anymore, so trigger them. Whatever.
I like finding the loopholes and like things that people say. Like nowadays, I just find for that one thing that people lack. Like I think I had a debate with my man earlier today. It was like almost 2 hours. I'm like, we never do this, and he was like, nowadays you're going on more debates with people because I need to make sure that you're good. And I was like,
nice.
And I was surprised because we usually don't enter that space because I like to keep work. I like to keep me and him like separate when it comes to that. I don't like exposing that side of myself to him because I don't want to.
But you know what, Angela, if I could, not to speak on your man's behalf or anything, but if I had to imagine, he sees the potential in you. He sees where you're going to be going. And he sees that it can be some hostile people out here to try to debate or whatever. Yeah. So he's like, I got to make sure my girl's going to be able to handle herself. So
yeah. Well, before he didn't want to open, and it's good that I said it so that he didn't have to say it. I think it's always different when you beat them to it so that they don't have to feel like they're, saying something to make you feel like they're leveraging the power. So for me, I was like, are we talking like this? Because I was like, wait, we've never debated like this before because you were worried that I might use it against you, right? And he goes,
Smart man.
and he was like, yeah. And he was like, I don't want you to use what I learn and teach you against me. He's like, but he's always watched me though, in a sense where like he'll ask me, like he'll hint something like, hey, do you think that the way you're saying that is do you like the way you're saying that? And
Great
that
way to
that's
do
a
it,
hint.
dude.
It's a
Ask
hint.
questions. Don't assert things. Just ask questions that allow somebody to conclude for themselves where they're at. Just bring it to mind.
It says a lot if your partner isn't aware that their concern is something for you. So for me, I was like, wait, I mean, I didn't care, but why are you asking me that? He's like, no, I'm just wondering. I'm like, no. I'm like, don't wonder. You haven't. I just told you. So I always dig within it. But like we were debating back and forth about loyalty, about who has more loyalty, men or women. And he was in the beginning coming off of like, he's like, men have deeper ties of loyalties than women do. And I was like, why do you say that? He's like, because after a relationship, a man will still pay child support. He will still do his duty to protect as a man. But as a woman, she would move on to the next relationship. What are your views on loyalty for men and women? Or is it,
Take it away, Julius, you first.
My answer on loyalty for that? Based on, and this is anecdotal, based on my experiences, I would agree with that actually, because I do see men, we want to take that leadership role. So when a man, especially when he's dating like a single mom, and she has kids, he gets attached to those kids because he sees that their dad is like a POS. He might be a POS or he might be in jail, whatever the case may be, he's not there. So the dude wants to kind of take that role and be that leader. And so he gets attached to the kid, they like him, they take him in place and things like that. But if something goes wrong where he just doesn't do it for her, or he says something that she doesn't like, and they end up breaking up, he's still going to feel that attachment for the kids. It's like, man, me and the kids got along so well, and now
but he has no lawful right to them, and they're going to be gone.
Right. So there is that sense of loyalty when it comes to that. I think that also too, when a man gets attached to the woman, when he likes her a lot. Again, when men don't get females like that, and they get that one woman that actually likes them back, they start to get attached to the point where it's like, I want to let her go. She's so awesome. She's so awesome. Then when something happens, she starts to drift away. He can feel that being, ripped. Next thing you know, he still wants to be loyal to her. He's still thinking about her. He's still to call her, see how she's doing, even when they're just friends. So I do think that men kind of still carry that loyalty even after they are broken up.
I would agree with everything you just said, and perhaps men might, in general, have a bit more loyalty than women, except for when the woman truly loves the man, at which point that's the most loyal creature on earth.
What do you feel about that, Julius?
But that's when she becomes loyal, right? You talking about when she becomes loyal?
She will be the most loyal person on earth if she's truly in love with the man. She don't want nobody else.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that you can tell when a woman just this is why I always say it's important. I don't know if it's going to sound cliche, but it's really important for men. It's going to sound cliche. That masculine frame is a real thing. It really is. I'm only talking about it anecdotally because I had a girlfriend last year. When she first met me, I was totally chill, super cool. I was doing my thing. I was live streaming, had 1,300 people watching my live.
Yeah, you're balling.
I was chilling, doing me, and she saw that and almost see me as like that dude, right? Mm-hmm. The moment the red flag started to pop up, I expressed concern. I expressed myself. Do you get what I'm saying? I was like, hey, I don't like this. I don't like that. That's a little weird. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It became like I was nagging her.
Not so chill, yeah. Not so
right, even kind of guy. Were justified. They were justified.
No, I hear you. But suddenly,
yeah. So now I'm no longer.
Power dynamic changes.
Exactly. I'm no longer that dude. Now she sees me as, oh, he's just being annoying. He's just being insecure. Now she's gonna gaslight me. But had I would, let's say talking to her guy friend, and I say, you know what? I'm not really feeling that. Oh, well, you're insecure. And then she goes back home, and then she starts to text me. Never hears from me. Now she's wondering, holy crap, I might lose this guy.
Yep. Here's the thing, man. I wouldn't even necessarily tell her unless I would just stop. I would not interact. Don't tolerate or reward unacceptable behavior. Don't negotiate or anything.
Two questions.
She knows
Hold
She
on,
knows
hold on,
that
hold
that's
on.
not right to
Okay,
do.
real quick.
You're gonna have to tell her that. You shouldn't have to. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, what I'm saying is not tell her in the sense where you're over and over. I'm saying like if you notice it and you speak up. You speak up, don't resent, right? So you speak up and say, "Hey, I'm not really feeling that," and then she says like she's combative, right? Once she's on her way home, she's at home. You guys are separate. Tries to text you and call you. You just don't talk to her, and then now
Yes,
you
I
make
mean,
her realize
don't reward that. Don't indulge it.
exactly. So now you make her realize, well, holy crap, I might lose this guy. Maybe I shouldn't talk to that guy friend. You see what I
To
mean?
Angela's point, she was saying the other day on the show, just she'll sense when a man like stops showing you, like when he's disappointed in you or something, like a father or whatever, when he stops showing you the same benefits that you were getting and you didn't realize you were getting them until he stopped showing them because he's disappointed or whatever. And I don't mean to misquote you, Angela, but you had something like that you were saying, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was my point too. I mean, I think men and women. I mean, a guy knows when a girl is like fully loyal to you emotionally and physically, and a woman knows when a guy is slowly pulling out of that like honeymoon phase with her, and like, okay, he's not as attentive with me.
Mhm.
So I think that's why I was going to ask you guys what. Well, I'll go back to the loyalty thing, but what is your best approach, like to the 1, 2, 3 step? You see something about your girl that bothers you when you're dating. What is your exact step to assess the situation and tackle it?
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah. May I ask for like a scenario or something? Because it could be a lot of different things.
Okay. Let's say you hate that she always turns off the AC instead of regulating it, but you guys live together.
Okay, yeah, I would very, very patiently, but like directly bring up to her why I had an issue with it, and
No, like
if
1,
she
2, 3. Like, okay, first off, what would you do? First step, what would you do?
first step would
You get home from a hot day. You get home from work. It's hot as shit in the house. You're like, the fuck.
I would probably walk back out of the house into the cool breeze so that I don't snap and say something in an angry moment that I'm going to regret. After I compose myself with the walk or something, I'm going to come back and I'm just going to say, "Hun, is there a reason that I'm overlooking here or not seeing why we would not have the air on right now?" And then I'll let her. Maybe she has a good reason for it or something that I'm not aware of. And then hopefully at that point.
And she goes, "Oh, I just forgot, babe. I just forgot. I don't like the house being cold."
Well, hun, I'm sorry, but we can't. We got to keep the air on. It's got to stay the same consistent temperature. Just don't mess with it if you can't remember to turn it back on. Okay.
Okay, and then you say that, and then you come
And then she does it again?
Again and again and again, like 4 more
Hun,
times.
am I going to have to treat you like a child and literally put a lockbox on the regulator so you can't access it anymore? Or are you going to be mature enough that if you turn it off, you turn it back on? I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to be your parent. Just consider this. Like, it's important. It costs more money, too, to boot up and off every time like that. It's, it's showing disrespect for my money that I'm out here working and earning. Like, come on. And then I don't want to come home all sweaty and shit. Like, do you just, like, not think about me at all? This is the 3rd time now. Shit, come on.
All right. Interesting.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, Jordan.
I get home. I'm like, oh, man, it's hot. And then
it's hot right now. So am I, by the way.
Yeah, and then I cut the AC on after like 2, 3 hours. It was a little chilly, and she cuts it off, and it's still hot in the house. Right. First step, I'll just say, "Hey, you cut the AC off?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, we didn't leave it on. It's kind of hot in here." That's it. And then if I lay down and she's like, "I don't like that. It's cold," and then she cuts it off. Then now, are we married? Or are we just dating?
Married.
Obviously, we're married, right? Okay.
Married, okay.
So then we're married. So she cuts off the AC the first time, and I just say, "Hey, you cut it off?" I was like, "It's kind of hot in this house. We're gonna leave it on for a little bit." And I turn it back on. And she's like, "I don't like this." And then she cuts it off, right? Like while we're sleeping or something. And she cuts it off again, and now it's like super hot. Rather than go back and forth, I'll just sit in the hot. Not because she did it. I'll just sit in the hot, and then the next day, if she's like trying to be like, "Good morning," I'll just be like, "Oh, good morning." Go about my day, and she's like, "What's wrong with him?"
So you're like my dad, dude. Your mood will change. It'll be sensed like you're unhappy with behavior or something.
My mood would change, but it wouldn't be like petty. It would just be stoked.
Right, it would just be irritated that she's showing a lack of like respect for your. So here's the other part about that. That's a great. Now I'm starting to get irritated with my imaginary wife in this situation because look, if it's too cold, put some clothes on. Go put a sweater on or something. I can't take anything off more than I already have when I'm down to bare skin and I'm going home from work and it's fucking hot in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta keep it cool, all right? If it was the opposite situation in the winter, I would just put more stuff on. If I came, it's just about accommodating each other, having respect and appreciation. Come on.
If she cut off the AC, look, if she cut off the AC, one way that I'll be comedically petty, right? She cut off the AC, right? I would just, if she goes, oh, it's too cold in here, crank the heat up. I'll just crank the heat up to about 90. Oh, God, it's so hot. Go back on, turn into AC. I'm like, oh, it feels so good in here.
Dude, this is a hot take, but I would say, okay, so it's been 2 times now. The third time that airs off, you best not be here when I come home. You don't have a place to live anymore. You're out. I'm done.
So this is what I would say, because the whole point to that question is to see how men usually tackle problems with women, and hopefully somebody can understand that from both perspectives. Because obviously it's a thing that happens in a relationship where we don't agree with things, but you're stuck between 2 things: saying it and pissing them off, or not saying it and suffering. And you have to decide which one do you want to do. And I think both scenarios, I see the yes and I see the cons. And I would tell you my scenario first, and I'll tell you where I don't agree with how you would handle it as a man. Because the minute you handle it wrong as a man, you disengage with the woman, and now you both are unhappy. You're unhappy that it's hot. She's unhappy with how you're talking to her. So personally, I'll start with like how Julius did it. On you voiced the opinion of like, hey, babe, did you turn the AC off? Yeah, I did. It's hot. Okay. Well, I just come from work, so I'm going to turn the AC up, and I really like the house to be cool when I get off of work because it's kind of a shitty day today. So I want to come home to a happy house with you. Cool air, please. Oh, okay. Yeah, baby, I forgot. 4 days later, it happens again. You're like, okay, all right, she's doing this shit again. So you turn the AC way the fuck up. Way up just to prove a point to where it's like nippy chilly. And to where she's like, oh, okay. There's a drastic hint of what the hell's going on. Because first off, this is why I always say it's a small loss for a big win. So right now we're playing a little cat and mouse game. Turn the shit way up. You go to sleep. You sleep amazing to make up for the lack of sleep you had the night before.
I like how you
okay. And then the next day you come home from work, it happens again. You're like, bet. Okay, cool. So now she's not listening. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time, and she keeps forgetting because she's being ignorant or whatever her PTSD from her childhood home. Because most people like me. Like I grew up and my parents would always turn off the AC when they leave the house. I'm like, as I'm an adult, I'm like, you just turn it up, you regulate it, you don't turn it off. But they're old school, they didn't know. So that's something from her childhood that could have been that you guys haven't spoken. But you just think she's just being annoying, obnoxious, and a girlfriend or a wife.
No, that's why I asked her. I said, is there a reason? I wanted to find out, maybe.
Well, the thing is, people won't know that that's the reason. It's just like that's a lot of people. You can ask them; they'll just be like, "I don't know, I just turned it off." So
yeah, exactly. That's how I asked for.
I'm gonna say that's not acceptable.
It's almost like see, now you're telling someone what they can't do, and that's the problem.
No, I'm saying unless you have a good reason for it. I have a good reason for wanting it on.
So hear me out. So this is what you would do: the 3rd, 4th, 5th time. Now you don't come home. You sleep at your cousin's house, your brother's house, your friend's house. Now you're not in a malicious way. Now you're like, hey, I'm gonna hang out with the boys. I don't know. Like to me, there's a normal schedule of having friends and whatnot. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with the boys. I'm gonna go and probably hang out that. And you don't come home as early. Like you rather just come home really late to where like she's asleep to where you can go sleep in the living room, turn up the AC. I'm gonna tell you why. Right now you're about to start war. And what happens is she's gonna be like, why didn't you da-da-da-da? You're like, well, here's the thing. I'm torn. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place with you. If I tell you over and over and over, I'm going to be pissed with the AC. And I don't want to piss you off, but also I have to sleep in heat because you're cold because you won't put clothes on. I come home from a hard day, I pay all the bills, and I never once make you feel like shit. I pay the bills on time to make sure you don't stress out about life. But yeah, I come home, I just want cool AC, and you can't remember to turn on the AC, but I have to remember how to pay all the bills. Not being petty here, but what do you want me to do as a man if I can't get you to remember to turn on the AC or just don't touch it at all? So I need to sleep in peace so I can go to work every day happy and come home to you and be happy. But it's always hot. After a shitty day of getting cursed up by my boss, I just want to come home to my loving wife, but it's hot as shit. So right there, you just painted the picture for her to be like, fuck, I am so sorry. Because she forced you to basically stay out late so she can go to sleep so you can turn up the AC. Or it's for you to sleep at your friend's house, your brother's house, or whatever it is. So now you're teaching her like there's consequences to the privilege of me being in your life. You're showing her like, listen, if you don't appreciate me being home, you don't think about, oh, my husband's going to come home at 7:00. I need to make sure the house is cool. There's cold beer. There's, AC's down. So now you're teaching her like, it's not like I don't want to communicate with you, but I've mentioned it 1, 2 times now.
Yes.
And now the third, fourth time, now I'm going to be the nagging husband. Do you want me to be the nagging husband? I don't want to be a nagging husband.
Damn.
So now you just taught her that.
Great,
I mean,
great point.
That's why I was saying that. Me, I just be a lot more stoic about it because I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you guys are saying at all. I'm just a lot more stoic about it because it's like if I have to explain all of that, I would just tell her like, listen, if I see her turn off the AC and I just say, oh, you turn it off, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna just keep it on because it's a little bit hot in here. And she does it again and again and again. There is gonna be consequences. I agree with Angela. There's gonna be consequences because how can I sit here and to me the way I see it, if you tolerate her intolerance, she's never gonna tolerate you. Point blank.
Oh, there's certainly got to be consequences. My worry may be perhaps, and I actually really like what Angela said, but I'm just making sure I think through all the potential repercussions here because you are declaring war, as you so thoughtfully realized.
Yeah, there's repercussions for sure.
But these are the beginning of the relationship. I'd have to say, like, you don't do this shit like 5 years down the road. Like, it's not really possible. But even if you were to get to that, I mean, I think there's ways to handle it to where it'd be around that bubble because you can say like, oh, like I know a lot of people say, oh, that's a lot of work, that's a lot of talking. But here's the thing, you handle that shit so that never happens again.
Yes, exactly. It's resolved permanently. But here's my only like I'm thinking through all the potentials like that could blow up my face over this.
Yeah.
So when I do a move like I don't come home or I stay out real late, what if all of a sudden I come home one day early from work and it seems like she's like had the milkman there or something like that? I don't know. It's just like what if my staying out like got her worried? You know what I mean? And then she starts to like go tit for tat.
But so that speaks a lot about leadership and relationship. Like if you're on the same frequency with each other, and that's why like a lot of these relationships that are 50-50 right down the middle, like emotionally, financially, and leader, like how are you leading if your girl feels like, oh, you're not, like for me, if my man is unhappy with me, it's almost like the fear of a dad, like my dad's unhappy with me. So it's like, why didn't he come home? And it's supposed to start a fight, like that's the thing. But that's where, like Julie says, stoicism, like you have to be stoic. Like you're looking at her like, are you done? You didn't come home. I'm like, okay, this is the fourth time I've told you. It's hot as hell. I want to go home to peace. I want my beer. My beer is cold. My house is hot. What the fuck? Like things like that. Like it gotta make sense. What do you want me to do? And usually when you ask them, what do you want me to do? I've communicated it. Like women are like children, but once they understand the fear that I don't want to.
I'll take right there.
Well, it's weird because women are like children, but men also. What I've definitely noticed, because men are also like, tell me what to do so I know what to do. Because you can't just expect them to know what to do. So in a way, men and women are like children. But in this aspect, women are like children where once they sense the fear of, I don't want to piss off this man because I want him to come to me. It's a also a territorial thing that she wants him to come. She wants you to come to her. And the fact that you're home, anyone else, it's going to irritate her. And you painted a picture like, if I say something, I'm the nagging man. And then you're going to dream about the neighbor's husband because he never yells at his wife because he also doesn't give a shit. Now you're going to confuse. But if I, don't say anything, I have to suffer because you're being selfish and I've been working all day and I just want to go home to peace. So what do you want? So now you put all the problem back on her. So what do you want me to do in this situation? If you were me, what would you do? So instead of saying, I did all this for you, and that now you just fucked up there because now you're making her feel like you're doing it all.
That's the worst thing you'd say.
No.
So real quick, guys, speaking of like decisions, we only got like so long left. I just want to jump into Kanye West real quick, and then
sorry.
No, you're good. This is a fantastic conversation. Don't apologize for it. I appreciate you just even joining us in the first place. It's like always.
Yeah, no, Angela.
As long as you are, I don't mind at all. I'm always happy that you're here. So real quick, I'm going to jump into Kanye West. Kind of talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to jump into. I think Angela. I don't know if you met him, but I think you know of him, Justin Waller. He's also in that red pill space.
Haven't officially met, but I don't.
Okay.
I know him, but I haven't met him.
I don't mind some of his takes. He's been on Fresh and Fit. He was on whatever podcast. He was on whatever podcast with Lila Rose. Lila Rose is the founder of Live Action, which is a very pro-life organization, and she's been doing pro-life stuff since she was 15 years old. Still doing the business today. So I'll show that what happened with that. But I want to show Kanye West real quick. Bring up this tweet. Let me get this up real quick. So it seemed like Kanye West has moved on from Kim to this new chick. I don't know if you've been seeing the same chick for a while, but definitely, I think he's been with the chick. I don't know who this chick is. Bianca Censori. I don't know if this is the same chick that he's been seeing for quite some time. I thought I'd seen her before in other photos from like months ago. But this is the chick that he's with now. Sorry, I'm just going to enlarge it just real quick.
Well, he has terrible taste in women. Jeez.
I was wondering what she looked like. She white.
You know, so I used to have this theory. This is before I even knew anything about red pill. This is just always my thoughts when it came to men who date chicks. I noticed that men who get attached to certain women, when they break up with them and go on to the next chick, that chick has some type of familiarity with the last chick. I've noticed
You're
that a lot.
saying this chick resembles Kim in more ways than one?
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at her, right? I mean, first and foremost, I can see like the outfit that she's wearing. I can see Kim Kardashian wearing the same type of outfit. You know what I'm saying? Like I can just
same kind of curvy body. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right, and so the fact that Kanye has now moved on, to me, it's interesting to me because I want to talk about this because Nick was talking about him in his live with Layla, this woman named Propaganda Fluid. You might like her, Angela. She has really great content.
Yeah, they could hit it off.
Yeah,
they could also butt heads too, and that'd be fun too. So,
yeah, but I found it interesting to me because Kanye was talking about being this man of God, and then having the father, the mother, the children, things like that. But then he's off with this new chick, and how does that look to the children that he's had with Kim Kardashian? To see their dad just move on like that. I know most men will say, well, men should have multiple women, and I whatever, right? But if he's moving on to this chick, what happens if he ends up gets her pregnant? And now
Julius, can you go back to full screen? Because I want to get you to tell Ange your take on are you still in the same position that, and again, don't let me misquote, I believe you claimed something not too long ago that you don't necessarily think that it's a good idea or that you have the right to be dating as a single father right now until your daughter's grown up to maturity?
So K-Train said Kanye must have been breastfed. Jeez Louise, K-Train.
All right. I love that. Happy Mother's Day.
I know, right? What goes good with cookies? So my take is, Angela, I always had to think about when it came to single moms and single dads is that I think that when you have a kid with somebody and then you guys break up and then you move on, I think this is just my take on it. If I'm wrong, it's cool. I think that when you move on to somebody else, it's actually more detrimental for the kid because now you're putting the kid in a position where they're compelled to have to like somebody else who's not their mother or their father. So, for example, with me, when I broke up with my daughter's mom, I got with somebody else, with her for 2 years. At one point in our relationship, she said, I feel like you're spending more time with your daughter than you are with me. Huge red flag. And I was like, well, this is my daughter. I can't just choose you over her because that's not fair. But that made me realize the consequences of dating somebody who's not the mother of your children and trying to bring that person into your life. And so I think it's a detriment because now, again, that child has to be compelled to call this person mom, whatever the case may be. And women do the same thing. You got both male and female who got multiple, baby moms. I mean, look at Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon right now is spreading the seed around the globe.
Terrible example, but go ahead.
No, but what I'm saying is that he has multiple baby moms. So imagine all the kids, half brothers, half sisters. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's like insane to me. Some men will say, "Well, he's."
But that's such a drastic comparison too. So most kids, I would have to say, their struggle with seeing a parent move on is the fact that their two parent alone couldn't get along, and everybody knows that co-parenting is the hardest. But if you can make it work, then you set them the standard for the kid to understand. Like it's not a you thing. It's the fact that we couldn't get together. But now that we are co-parenting, we have a better relationship. And I think that most people, instead of like the mom talking shit about the dad or the dad talking shit about the mom and then bringing a new person, now the kid's confused. But if a mom and a dad, has to separate because you just can't get along and you're just happy and you're just not the same person anymore. I think it's important for the mom, let's say she starts dating a new guy, to set the idea like, I'm happier, your dad is happier, and you have to sit down with the child to teach them that, because I don't think it's fair Nick Cannon is a terrible example. The guy is just popping kids everywhere. But realistically, you know, I
He's got a
know,
Google map at this point. He's just popping kids
yeah,
everywhere.
exactly. Like my cousin had a dad, has a biological dad, and he was single for years. And in the years that she was a child, she told me, like, looking back now as an adult, she's like, she realized how selfish it was to make him wait like that. She's like, I don't like the fact that, like, by the time she turned 11, 12, she had a life. She was in middle school. She was kind of cool, whatever the fuck it was. And she was like, I just want my dad to be happy. Like, he kept tiger parenting over her. So to her, it was like, have a life. Have a life, please. Like, what are you waiting for? And she practically begged it.
I don't
See,
know.
I see. So that's a hard line to try to find and navigate because I see the merit in both of what you guys are saying. Julius, you're saying it basically when she said that to you, like you're spending more time with your daughter than me. It literally smacks you in the face that for
But
me to find
that's really the wrong type of women. Like, usually if you're gonna redate again, you would date someone that has kids.
I agree, but I can see what he's saying. Like, it hit him in the face. Like, this is something I'm gonna have to decide between like time I give to a new woman versus my daughter. So that's something to consider. However, what Angela just said, your daughter's not gonna want you to forego having a lover to die with, for her expense. You know what I mean? So there is something there to be said about both sides.
But it's deeper than that, though, because again, I'm a single dad. This is why I can speak to this because I was dating, wow, whatever case may be, and so I just saw, and I even told myself at one point, I was like, well, maybe I should date somebody with kids, right? And I actually did date somebody who had a child, but my thing is this is where the detriment comes in for the child. If let's say I date a chick who doesn't have a kid, and then me and her have a kid, that child gets to have mom and dad, while the child I had previously doesn't get to have that. So imagine what they had to grow up with versus what their half brother and sister get to have. So, or if I date a chick who has a child, and then my daughter or this chick's son or daughter sees us together, and then we have a kid, they both still go to the same thing. They got to deal with co-parenting, while their half brother and sister get both mom and dad's love.
Yeah, I hear on that. So off of that, Julius, how do we feel? And Angela, I want you to answer first, please. How do we feel about till death do us part vows? Like literally, like what should, if we're making these vows, what could come up that we wouldn't have considered or should have considered before we made them? Like till death do us part means till death do us part. Period. Right? Like maybe we all shouldn't be making babies and doing all this until we commit that to somebody and we really mean it and we ride and die.
I mean, I'm a diehard for that line, so I support that line. I think it's a good line. I don't think people live by it enough, but maybe I'm just naive.
I stand, and I told Angela this, I stand 100% with her about communication. I wholeheartedly agree with you on communication because I think we're lacking that. It's one of the top 10 reasons why people get divorced is communication. To me, it's like if you're going to get married to somebody and you say for better or for worse till death do us part, regardless of how bad things get, you got to find a way to communicate. Like, hey, listen, stuff hitting the fan. We tripping right now. My parents been together for this year will be 40 years that they've been together. So
hey, happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Giles, by the way. That's dope.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I see my parents fight. They fought when I was younger, but and then I watched them come together. I watched them fight and I watched them make up. Do you see what I'm saying? So it showed me how to deal with things, in a chaotic situation. Once I see them come together, I'm just like, man, that's how you do it. So anytime they have an argument or disagreement, they may bicker here and there, but then they come back and make a little joke and laugh and giggle. And I'm watching that going, that's love right there. Do you get what I'm saying? So when I see relationships nowadays and I see just people just leaving just because, like, oh my God, he verbally abused me, I'm going to leave him. And it's like, you guys can fix that though. Like, if it's a verbal thing, it's words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words should never hurt. You get what I'm saying? So you should be able to talk about these things. But now we don't communicate no more because we just want to go off to the next big thing. Well, this guy's over here better, or this girl does it better over here, so I'm just gonna leave. Nobody communicates no more to fix marriages. We just get married because it looks good to post on social media, and then when things don't go well, we want to just go back on social media and play victim to find the next person that's gonna be sympathy for us. Oh, he didn't treat you right. Why don't you come talk to me? I'll be your friend. Or you know what I'm saying? Or the guy going on Tinder trying to swipe to see who can he bang for the night because his wife's not there no more. It gets weird out there. So it's like there's no more till death do us part, or better or for worse. It's like people want things better, but never communicate when stuff gets worse.
How about severe consequences for anybody who breaks marriage vows legally? What if we started proposing laws like that? So therefore, nobody enters the death do us part vow unless they're damn serious about it.
So mandatory marriage?
No, I'm saying mandatory. I don't want to say negative effects occur if you break that commitment. If you break that vow legally for both parties, therefore they're both incentivized to maintain it and not break it and not enter into it in the first place because they know it's that consequences on the line. So that I'm just trying to think of a way to make it where it's actually taken seriously again, like the vow. Like the vow's not even considered now.
I think it's a people thing. I think it's just people have to. We're in a time of like evolution more than ever, and I think like these traditionalism, like you hear that it's a vow. It's so old school, even though it should be around forever. But I think that it's just a matter of people elevating and bringing yourself to the next level, I guess, to where people would have more of a reason to not even think about that. Again, it goes back to communication. Like these are things that people need to hear, need to talk about, to understand like, oh wow, like we do feel these, but in the midst of, anger or resentment, you don't think about that. And if you learn how to communicate, you'll think about that. Somebody has to lead the relationship to bring that up.
K-Train says, I'm going to read K-Train's comment when we react to this last video, and then we'll wrap things up. K-Train's comment says, truth, communication is key. Me and my previous girlfriend broke up after 5 years because we could never communicate about our differences. She would just shut down and not address the issue. So this is why communication is key. So, I mean, if she's shutting down, not bringing up the issue, then that is an issue for her, because sometimes people can deal with trauma and not be able to open up to the person that they're with. Again, defense mechanism issues. But
communication, that's ultimately a communication breakdown. So, yeah.
So, speaking of communication, to segue into this next segment, we're going to talk about Justin Waller and Lila Rose, which was very interesting. That, mind you, this is just a clip. I usually don't like to do clips, but for a sake of the podcast, we'll do just a clip just now, or we'll use this clip. So Lila Rose was on the Whatever podcast, the same podcast that Angela was once on. Shout out to them.
And will be again on the 23rd or something like that, right?
No, you have Valuetainment, right?
Yeah, Valuetainment.
Oh, my bad. I was just looking for a quick plug for you.
Yeah, I would never go to Whatever pod ever.
I try.
I don't think it's a bad podcast. I just think that it's just another refreshing trip.
It's trash. I don't care what anyone says. It can
nice. You heard it here first, folks. We're declaring war on all the trash podcasts out here. We're not holding our tongues anymore. Trash.
It's trash. The reason why I would say it's trash is not the content, it's the lack of accountability. So trash.
That is why most of them are trash nowadays, in my opinion.
Be entertainment, but take accountability for the fact that you are just entertainment.
Right. Yeah. So let me. Hopefully, you guys can hear this time around. It should be working, because you guys have been talking this whole entire time. I haven't heard you guys say no echo. My Bluetooth's on, so I can hear you guys just fine.
You just jinxed your last video, but go ahead.
All right, so here we go. So this is Lila Rose on the Whatever podcast, talking to Justin Waller, entrepreneur, I believe.
Can you, bro? I hate to interrupt, but can you full screen it by chance? It's a little small. Not the end of the world, though, if you can't. She said nice.
No.
Happy Mother's Day again from Age of Men. That's what she said, jokes.
Yeah, this is what happens. Okay, so let me take it off this full screen, and let me do it the other way. So hold on, let me do this. It'll probably be easier if I go like this.
Can you just zoom it up with your fingers?
That's what she said. No, I couldn't help it. It's Mother's Day. No,
this is on a roll, bro. I know it's Mother's Day. You couldn't help it. So we're going to hell, bro. I hope you know that.
This is the best full screen I can do. Is this cool with you guys, or is this still?
Yeah, just roll it. Just roll it. I was being a little overcritical. It's fine.
Okay, because if I go full screen, it will
No, it's fine, bro. It's fine. I don't need to put that on your plate right now. It's all good.
All right, so here's Lila Rose, founder of Live Action, pro-life, super pro-life, against Justin Waller.
Can I ask one more question?
Fire away.
Okay. If you have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, as you said, why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself.
You have self-control. You work out, you do business. You can possess your own your own power and
It's
you
just not.
direct it the way
It's
you
just
want
not
to
how
direct
I
it.
am. It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. I saw somebody say that. I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying. In like this goody two shoes type way, and that's fine. I'm gonna live my life on my terms, unapologetically, like truly. So you can ask me to say 5 different ways. At the end of the day, I hear the same man.
So,
can I ask you one more question?
Fire away.
Okay.
did you guys hear that? You guys able to hear that?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're good.
So, thoughts on that? What do you guys think about that? So essentially, she's basically saying like, if you can only have one heart for one woman, why not just be faithful to one woman? He's like, I'm just not wired that way. To me, I like Justin, but that was an L take on Justin. I did not like his answer. I think a better way, and this isn't about winning an argument necessarily. I just think that he could have answered that and been like, you know what, hey, marriage today maybe just not good for men. It's not in favor of men because of alimony, because of child support, because of the fact that women do initiate most of the divorces, according to a Forbes magazine. It's like 70% that women initiate divorces. Top 10 reasons why. One of them, I'll say top 5. Like financial, communication, infidelity, and other stuff as well. I think that's what he.
No, not again. Okay.
What happened?
I don't know. You froze up on me for a minute there.
Oh, I was like, oh man.
I so wish you would have to end the show. That would have been a hilarious way to end. But
yeah, I just think that he could have had a better way of answering that to kind of like, you know, because again, if he could have stand on this, you guys are laughing. Oh, you guys laughing at me.
I love seeing something that happened to these guys in the red pill space. I love it. It thrills my soul to see it.
It's like giggled like a little girl right there. She does love it.
Because I love it. I'm like, oh, what happened to the stoicism? What happened to you being a 1% man? What happened to all of that right there? I think you're annoying.
Looking pretty beta.
Yeah, that to me, that right there did not show masculinity. That was pure. And listen, shout out to you, Justin. That was pure beta. That was pure. You were triggered like a woman, bro. He's like, I'm not triggered. It's interesting somebody said that. You're annoying. He had to use a liberal tactic of using ad hominems to make his argument. He had no.
She handled it like a pro. She laughed it off. She was like.
You know what? You're right. So from just like watching the body language, because I couldn't really make it. It was a little muffled for me. I couldn't really make it out.
He was like this.
He looked exactly like that. He looked exactly like that. And she looked like she was in her element, just like kind of rolling with it and laughing at him. Almost.
I love it.
Well, dude, an editor needs to take both the imitations Angela did right now and have them engaging with each other. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. I think it's hilarious, honestly. Sorry, I don't know if you're finished saying what you want to say.
I was gonna say, yeah. I just think to me that was such an L take because I get that Justin Waller and people like him are in the space of having multiple women and things like that, not being monogamous. Again, I'm not trying to condone any of it. I'm just saying his argument could have been a lot better how he would explain. If you're gonna stand on something, stand on it. Don't. Because, she asked such a simple question, but for some reason that threw him off. And I think this is the thing about the red pill. They come across a lot of these females who are quote-unquote bimbos, right? As they call them bimbos. So it's easy to have to create a clip of like the talking point and make her look dumb, you look smart, but you come across somebody like Lila Rose, who's more into, she's a Christian, she believes in God, she believes in the marriage of God, man, woman, children, she believes in that, and she asks you a simple question, why can't you just be faithful? And then he's like, I'm not wired that way. And he's like, yeah, but you're a man, you know, you got your business, you work out, you got this and that going for you, and he's like, well, it's just none of your business. And I was like, whoa, buddy.
Beta.
I know, like beta male.
You know, you're on a podcast being interviewed right now about, you know, dynamics. What do you mean it's none of my business?
And you saw
it would be funny because if a girl said that about her body count, like if he said like, what's your body count? It's none of your business. Oh, why are you ashamed to say it? It's funny because they expect her to say their body count, you know, how many partners they have and all this stuff. And she can't say it's none of your business or you're just insecure. That's why you want to say it. But then I could say the same thing about you, Mr. Waller.
Yes, dude.
Insecurities. Yeah,
we're going to burn the red pill fake loser weirdos down out here. This trifecta right now.
They're just like a little flick. Like they get so emotionally that.
Yeah.
Like
dude, because again, I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear it, but the body language said it all. He looked like he was like emotionally
Listen.
triggered, worked up, and I didn't know what about. But now that this is what was happening, that's hilarious. That's all it
I
takes.
heard some backdoor tea. I'm not gonna say it right now.
Hit us. Oh, okay, maybe behind the scenes, folks.
I have to, but
Yeah. If you guys want to talk
Hey,
about
sign up for our Patreon. No, I'm just kidding.
I have backdoor tea from that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, so-
I can't
Yeah,
wait
so-
to hear it.
So to me, this is where I kind of again I make the argument with this. If that was me and I was Justin, now if me asked that question, I would have told Lila Rel, I would have said, well, the reason why I'm not, and their whole thing about multiple females, right? I would just say, well, you know, for me, being monogamous is not great for a man due to the fact that how it divorces.
Yeah, you would have made a compelling argument, but instead he basically was like, well, I don't know, it's just what I do. And then when she's like pressing it a little bit to find the integrity there, he's just like, well, really, it's none of your business that I have no integrity.
Yeah. So that was
Not good luck,
Justin.
Justin.
The
That's
best
not a good
answer
look,
he really could have just said, I just haven't found the one I haven't found the one yet. That's all he could have just said.
He could have said a lot of different things that
Like,
he did.
I have a heart for one person, but I sleep with many because I haven't found the complete person, the person that I want yet. You know, that he could have
Or
just
he
said
could have
that.
even like been like a little like cutesy with it and been like, I just have a lot of love to give, a lot more than the average man. Something, you know what I mean? The way he handled it was just like the worst way.
Yeah.
Did you see how the red pill community labeled it? Where there was like, where they said a traditional wife tries to shame 1% man. No, she did shame him. It wasn't tried. She did. She
totally punked him.
She literally did. What is he talking about? Like,
Here's
how they spin this.
They spin it very well. Here's how that should have been worded: shameful red pill man punked by Christian interviewer or something like that. You know what I mean? That's how you would properly phrase that. But yeah,
Christian pro-lifers
out here.
Christian pro-lifer shames red pill man. So, real quick too, on a side note. So when I showed Angela our shirts to Believe No Women, and Angela kind of like, huh? I'm like, it's funny how you made that face because you have a Joker shirt, and Joker is just as crazy as the shirts that we're wearing. I love the Joker. That's all I'm saying.
She has a Joker shirt on. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I love that shirt.
Well, but for me, the Joker is more of a mental health thing. The lack of like awareness for mental health.
What is the shirt? I can't really see it.
It's just Joker. Like, I'm a Joker fan. I love Joker.
Nice.
Yeah. So real quick too. Also, what Nick was telling you about earlier about the whole Superman thing, how I'm into superheroes. Long story short,
nice.
Yeah. So long story short, I'm a big Superman fan. I mean, I have a keychain with the Superman logo, just because it means hope. I always carry hope wherever I go. The Joker in this story called Injustice, Gods Among Us, or just Injustice, whatever you want to call it. The Joker decided to kill Lois Lane because he wanted to show that Superman is not as good as people deem him to be. So what he did was Lois Lane was pregnant with his child. So the Joker kidnapped her, did surgery, and put a bomb inside of her, or at least
that's a heavy joke.
Yeah, he put a kill switch inside of her. So when Batman knew that Lois was missing, he went to go find her. By the time he found her in a submarine below water, the Joker gassed Superman with the Scarecrow's fear toxin. So he thought Lois Lane was Doomsday. So he took her up to space. He didn't want to have to deal with fighting Doomsday and trying to find Lois, not realizing that was Lois. So he took her up to space to where she couldn't breathe. Once the Batman realized and said, Superman, that's not Doomsday, it's Lois. He snapped out of it and she was dead. Once she was dead, Metropolis blew up because of the bomb of Metropolis, so millions of people died. So not only did Lois die and the unborn baby, but millions of people died too. Because of that, Superman essentially killed the Joker by ramming his hand through his heart and ripping out his heart. And then from that day on, Superman said, no more, I'm no longer going to allow anybody to kill. So he became a global tyrant. And it just became like that on and on. It was a pretty crazy story, actually. So
wait. He became a global tyrant in order to prevent people from ever killing?
Yep. He went to other countries to stop their leaders from causing wars and things like that. It's pretty crazy.
So he was a tyrant for peace. You don't hear that every day.
This is how much of a tyrant he was. So Atlantis, Aquaman was not trying to go along with Superman's tyranny. So him and other Justice Leaguers took Atlantis up from the water and put it on dry land to show them that he means business.
Hey, Angela, I have a guy that's developing a video game for us. It's our like group of friends or influencers, small influencers. It's Mortal Kombat, but with our characters in it, and we're like really developing
nice.
And Julius has always had the total dream of being a superhero. So you and others, I'm tasking. My job is to come up with like the coolest, dopest superhero to give Julius for the game. That's going to be his character. So if you can think of any themes or anything, just get your brain taken.
I got it. Dark chocolate. There we go.
Yeah. No, guess what? So he does magic. I told him his street musician name should be Black Magic.
Black
I'm
magic.
not that dark.
There we go.
The lights making me look darker than I am.
All right, friends.
Dark chocolate. So
I
what
would
was
say
Dark
milk
Chocolate's
chocolate,
superpowers be?
dark
What's Dark Chocolate's backstory?
His sweat actually is him melting so he can go underneath the door. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Julius is gonna be there.
It's hot out here.
He's a little slithery guy.
And then he reforms on the other side. He's like, hey.
This is the guy from the little Spice commercial. Lord Jesus.
Well, Julius, that's a high note if I've ever heard one to end on, unless you got anything else you want to get to today.
No. I just want to apologize to the folks out there who've been watching. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties. I swear we'll have a better show next week. It was a great show today, but we'll have a better show next week. Sorry about that. My computer got too hot. Whatever it is what it is.
The sponsors are going to wring his neck behind the scenes, folks. Don't you worry about it. He's going to get whipped in line real good.
Yeah. C's Candy's going to kick my butt. So, especially with the dark chocolate. Nobody sells dark chocolate.
He's going to be burnt chocolate by the next show.
So for you guys listening to the conversation, all the things we talked about when it came to Nicki Minaj, Mother's Day, its relationships. If you guys like what we talked about, do hit that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you're not subscribed already, do hit that bell to get notified for anything we post with live video. We will start posting shorter videos. Just give us time to work on that. But do subscribe and do like it and do leave a comment what you guys think about our conversations. It definitely helps the algorithms. And share this out on your platforms. If you got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case may be, do share this out and make sure you guys tag our name into it. It'll be very, very helpful. And you want to be a guest on this show, the email is down below. You can always DM us on the Age of Men podcast on Instagram. I want to say a special thank you to Angela Knight for joining our show. Thank you for coming on. And Angela, once again, how can the folks find you and where can they hit you up or watch your content at?
Oh, hi friends. You can find me at Angela Knight 2.0, YouTube, Instagram, all that fun stuff.
All right, 2.0 going in the chat right now.
Very simple. Very simple.
Just saying thank you to K-Train. K-Train's the man. He's always.
Yeah, he is. K-Train's number one fan far and away. K-Train, we appreciate you, bro.
He's a good dude. I met him in person too last year. Really good dude. Awesome. Yeah, really good dude. Very humble. He's a farmer too. So Trump says we love our farmers. We love our farmers. They grow our food. We love our farmers. We love them. So appreciate you guys. God bless, and hope you guys again just make sure you guys subscribe. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I always adapt that from my homie Anomaly. Shout out to him. We will catch you guys on the next one. So tune in next Sunday. So God bless.
Happy Motherless Day.
All right, and we'll end this and peace out. As soon as my computer starts to load.